y'all?
What's up? What it is.
So, welcome to the Culture Chronicles, everybody.
Welcome to the Culture Chronicles. What it is, what's up? How's everybody doing this evening? I am Phatz, a.k.a. Phatz Kirkman, the author. You know. Y'all already know how we do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's
Yeah.
up? And you are?
I'm Novocaine, man. I'm
You already know what it
Novocaine
is.
Omega, Black Girl Gamer. How you guys doing? Wherever
All
you're
right.
tuning in from, it's good to have y'all today.
No doubt. Peace and blessings. Okay, so we're going to get right to it. For those of y'all that know me and roll with Rush and all that, y'all know.
Oh, Jose.
What's up, Jose?
Hey.
Peace and blessings, brother. Oh, this is nice.
Already.
What
What was you about to say? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it was good to acknowledge my man, to acknowledge my brother,
It is
Jose.
good.
Up in the J. That's
It
good
is
stuff.
good.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but excuse me, moving forward.
Just keep talking. I'm going to put names on the screen, and then we'll acknowledge everybody when you're done talking.
Appreciate that. Because we acknowledge the village.
Here they go.
Here they come. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. Appreciate the love, too. What up, Redbird? Peace. What up? So, if you've been rolling with Rush, you know that a book has been written by me.
All right.
And designed by Novocaine Omega, a.k.a. Black Girl Gamer. And the book is entitled.
Hold on. Up until now, let's make it real dramatic. Up until now,
Bam.
this is the only way we've been able to show it to you. I'm like, hey, y'all, go to the web. Hey, y'all, go to the website and download the book because it's an ebook. But guess what, y'all? Dun. Watch me now. Hey, what's up, Mama? I enjoyed your set earlier.
Yeah.
410 be more in the house.
Already.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, nice set, sis. I likes that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You likes it?
Oh yeah.
I like that.
You know how any sister that do any element of hip hop is a you know what I mean? Got a special place in my heart.
In your heart. I love that. I love that because that's exactly how I feel. She said that earlier. She's like, yo, we got to big up the ladies and do it like a house raid joint or something.
That would be excellent. Well, me and you built on that anyway. You know what I'm saying? We mentioned that.
So let me say this real quick. This is my page. A lot of y'all probably are tuning in from, but if you aren't, except for people on Facebook, of course. But if you aren't, go over to my man Culture Chronicles page. We have just started to build his page up. This is the Hubster. Word up. But
Appreciate
so
that.
anyway, go up to his page on Twitch, and it's the same exact broadcast. So if you do that, we can still keep up with everything you're saying and stuff from this platform. Okay. So thank you very much. And otherwise, keep going, buddy. So what are we here to do today?
Okay, well, look, we here to help y'all experience the experience of a hip-hop historian and an author, okay? So what we're going to do is let you know, when I started to write this book, I already knew that it was going to need a revised version as the book was getting written, because when you write anything on the history of hip-hop, or the history of anything, to be honest, but hip-hop especially, you already know there's going to be some facts or fictions or missing things that are going to come up, you know what I mean, after you wrote the book. Kalanji.
Uh-huh.
Peace.
Hold
you know
on.
what I'm saying?
Hold on. I do want to say this because people are already asking. I probably should have prefaced. Hey, Tweet Tessa, how you doing, Mama? What I want to say is we just got this hardback. We're waiting for a big shipment of books to come in the mail. Any day, tomorrow, the next day.
It should be tomorrow.
Tops.
I just got the receipt in the mail for it today with another book or whatever.
Okay.
So this
it
is
should
a
be
part
tomorrow.
of the shipment. So tomorrow,
so
Friday,
if you
the latest.
If you want it, literally just whisper to one of us, wherever you're tuning in from, DM, however you know to get in touch with us, because some of y'all know us through different platforms. Hit us up in that inbox, and we will correspond with you on just shipping you the book directly. All right, so because the hardback is us, we don't have a link where somebody is printing it up on demand. You know what I mean? We're printing them up, we're getting them shipped here and printing. I keep saying printing, shipping them to you direct with our fingers like elves, baby. All right, now you can say that, because she asked where the link was at, and I want to make sure y'all understand. Just hit us up in a personal way and tell us that you want it, and we will arrange whatever until we get a link. I will say this: if you want the ebook, though, you can go to soultrustrecords.com, and we do have that. So Soul Trust Records is our website, and we are a record label and stuff like that. So you can just go there and check it out. All right, part insightful. I won't interrupt no more. Go ahead, baby.
Well, no. We got to take care of business.
We
this
do.
is true. And we are working on a straight link. So y'all stay tuned for the link on the website, soultrustrecords.com.
And then
you'll be
able to fill it out and say your address and stuff like that. And then you won't have to go all over the place to get us or whatever.
Yeah, we're going to dot some I's and cross some T's, get this whole process. We're in the middle of this campaign. This was really a quick blessing, you know, that we kind of put into the air. It happened, you know what I mean, at the perfect time or whatever.
And
But
also, we already sold the first batch that we got, like, immediately.
gone. That's another reason why
so we're excited.
Yeah, another one on the way, but you trust. Here they come. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
all right. But again,
He does.
Blush. I appreciate it.
I be telling him that. He about to do that voiceover shit with us and with me. That would be nice.
Huh?
I said it would be nice to do voiceover.
Let's get this money, babe.
Let's get this money.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so the man,
we gotta do. You
the
know
man got the book. What you got? I like how you holding it like that.
Oh, no. Well. Again, as I was saying, you gotta, when you're doing the history of hip hop, you gotta write a revised version, right?
Okay.
All right. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna pick a part of the book. We're gonna pick the Black Spades today, right?
Okay.
Okay. Very pivotal group. In hip hop history, that got overlooked. They're one of the main reasons why I wrote this book in the first place was them. They were getting overlooked for various contributions that they made, not just for hip hop culturally, but in the elements as well, in the whole musical expression of it as well. They did some early stuff, you know what I'm saying, to get that to get hip hop going or whatever. So we're gonna hone down the Black Spades for two reasons. That's one, but number two, again, my revised version, we're gonna give you all a sneak peek of what's gonna be in the revised version. We're gonna do that today because I found some stuff that's gonna put some puzzle pieces together, answer some questions that I couldn't answer in here that I wanted the answers to. Now that I have them, I'm gonna share them with y'all today. We're gonna have some fun doing it.
Okay, now I want to ask you real quick. And then we'll get into the libations and the actual meat and potatoes of the thing, the vegan meat and potatoes of the thing. You said you knew you were gonna have to do a revised version,
right?
Correct.
Yes.
Why'd you say that?
I don't know. It's like, you know, even when we are studying our culture, you know, that saga never ends.
Okay.
You know, we're finding out more and more. You know, just when we thought we knew everything about slavery and us coming from Africa, we start finding out, oh, wait a minute, a lot of us are Native Americans have been here since the beginning. And then that's a whole nother, you know what I mean, topic
that's
that you got to go.
That's a good example.
You know what I mean? It creates a whole nother avenue that you got to go down. Yeah. So hip hop knew that, and I kind of knew that going into this because this book was based, the influence to write this book, it was always in my heart. But when the universe was like, all right, write the book, it's based on false information being put out.
And you wanting to correct and set the record straight.
And set the record straight.
So to give y'all a little background, for those who don't know us, we are MCs. We've been rhyming both of us have been rhyming for, let me see, I've been rhyming for 27 years. Phatz has probably been rhyming for about 28, maybe 29 years. So we've been rhyming for quite a long time. He's a dancer, a b-boy, and house dancer as well. And I do graffiti, I make beats and stuff like that. So that's us collectively. But we are both authors, we're both writers, and we are both teachers. So that being said, we're in the former Zulu Nation. Now we're in the Zulu Union. That's a whole kit and caboodle of stuff that kind of led to him writing the book, actually, while we're being honest. Okay, so, I see you. So, Zulu Union, stand up.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, so, So we're in that, and it was our job in the Zulu Nation, and still is our job, to spread proper information about hip-hop culture. And we were teaching at a camp over here for babies. Well, we always say babies, but they were teenagers. Young teenagers and stuff like that. Teenagers, you know, as long as they were a teen, they could be a part of it. So we did that for 3 years, and in doing that, we learned that there was a lot of misinformation that we were giving to the children. Not horrible misinformation about hip hop. I mean, like gross misinformation, but enough of it to where it was a problem because we were listening to people. Again, not to bash him every time, but like KRS-One, like and just celebrities. I'm not going to name a bunch of people, but just celebrities who are not necessarily hardcore historians, but you always thought they were because of their status. And don't get me wrong, KRS has some awesome information and a perspective on hip hop that I think is a good one. But sometimes he could get a little embellishy. And so we set on a journey, Phatz really in particular, set on a journey to correct the information and right the wrongs. Yeah, and it turned into this book. You know what I mean? So that's why he's saying he knew he was going to have to kind of revamp the information.
Yeah.
Because it's an evolving and a revolving door of facts and stuff that you think are true until you find out that it isn't. All right? And so that's kind of what it is. It's almost like the flat earth of it all. Like people who believe in the flat earth. I mean, I don't. But people who do, it's like they're like, wow, I never looked at it that way. So that's kind of like what this is. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of stuff. And it's dope information. So tonight we're going to be reading from what?
Page 55 of Black Spades. But before we do that...
No, we're going to pour the libations. But
yeah.
I was just, I guess, introducing like what was kind of what you guys are in for, you know what I mean, or whatever. So we're gonna talk about the Black Spades. We're gonna pull the book up on the screen. We're gonna let y'all read with us. You know, we're gonna pull up pictures and stuff like that for those who are new to us teaching and dropping jewels or whatever like that. First, we gotta pour some libations. Then I gotta go get this DoorDash.
Is that the door?
I heard the door open and close. So I think one of them brought the food in.
All right.
So some libations.
All right. I just want to pour libations to various warrior scholar ancestors that carried the same nature of reforming information. So,
okay.
Sheikh Auntie Diop.
Ashe.
Chapter 3.
Ashe.
Ashe. Francis Cress Webson.
Ashe.
Ashe. And Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
Ashe.
Ashe.
J.A. Rogers.
J.A. Rogers. Ashe.
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 Ashe. Okay, so cool. That always sets it off right, y'all. That's why that plant is so beautiful. If I wish I could really bring it over here, but now it's gonna be drinking. Yeah, so we need to let it eat. But it's a gorgeous plant, and I think it's because of the way that we open up these particular teachings.
Yeah, of course.
Because again, man, it's
over there looking like the Kraken, yo.
The Kraken.
I know when ain't coming out that they looking sweet, yo.
Okay, so yeah, it's been delivered. So I'm gonna grab it, real quick.
Okay.
And let you say something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So whatever you gotta say. I'll be right back, people.
Oh yeah. Oh, I just wanted to say, again, I just want to say peace and blessings. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in or whatever. And just to let you know, when we've probably been, this is one of the reasons why if someone's been asking, like, what is hip-hop culturally, you're probably getting thousands of answers. And even when you look online, you may get a lot of different things. My book and my purpose, for real, is to let everybody know that hip-hop is just a culture. We say it. We say a lot of things about us. We say we kings. We say a lot of stuff, but a lot of times we don't really act on that stuff culturally. So when we say hip-hop is a culture, I truly mean it. That's why we're here at the Culture Chronicles. And it's more than the elements, just the elements that a lot of people may base the culture of hip-hop on, which is graffiti, DJing, b-boying, and MCing. A lot of people will tell you that. Some people will put the knowledge of self with it. Some will add a couple more. Street entrepreneurship, they get into other things or whatever. I like sticking to the core 5 at first, but since a lot of people are kind of having issues not only getting the information correct to explain it, but that way we can get the proper information to the people. My long-term goal, also big up to the certain brothers in the Zulu Union. We starting like a hip-hop intellectual collective with a mission to document properly, get the timeline and everything proper for the true culture and history of hip-hop properly, so that we can teach it in school systems, so we can present it to school systems, elementary school systems, public school systems, private school systems, colleges, what have you. You know what I mean? And that's the long-term goal, you know what I mean, of the crusade. So OFFSTAGE is really a campaign. It's a crusade, you know what I mean, to actually get textbooks. It's a textbook. I'm looking for it to be a textbook, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? But we about to get into it, you know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, so we about to start reading from the book OFFSTAGE. I think this will be it.
I'm just eating right quick. All right, folks. Hey, thanks, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So here it is. Ladies and gents, All right. So that's the cover. So we're going to the 55th page of your book. All right. Okay, cool. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're going to take turns as usual, or we'll talk
Yeah,
about
we
it?
could do that. You could do that. You want to start?
You need to take some breaks in here to point out some stuff, or are we reading it all the way through?
I could. So I'll probably take some breaks. You know what I mean? And I'll let everybody know. But we'll just move forward. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, or whatever, if necessary, depending on the nature. We going. You know how we do, babe.
Yeah.
We'll let the universe guide us on through. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So you want to take turns?
Sure. I'm with that.
All right. You can pick. Who going first?
I'll start. The first caller responds. The Black Spades. In 1957, New York City passed its integration laws forbidding racial or religious discrimination in private rental housing. This was just another law made by officials that did not go over well in society. Keep in mind that this was a decision made before the Civil Rights Movement, which according to Dick Gregory, benefited whites as well. Some would say that it was the right thing to do, but most Italians and Jews of the Bronx did not favor integration at all. They put their feelings on Front Street through their ways and actions which spoke much louder than words. It is these instances that gave a sense of purpose and responsibility to the root seed people of hip-hop culture. 1965-ish, the Bronx in 65 was a beautiful community of Jews, Italians, and Irish. Integration was set to bring hope and opportunities to minorities in the U.S. After 99 years of segregation and open racism, blacks and Latinos were looking to move on up, like the Jeffersons, and join the whites in what seemed to be a more prominent neighborhoods. Our story begins. You can go here, babe. Your turn.
Okay, we'll do it like that. 2 or 3 paragraphs, please. Our story begins with 4 black families moving into one of the beautiful tower apartment buildings in the South Bronx. These buildings were cleaned and thoroughly maintained daily. A young black child named Pete was a member of one of these 4 black families in this awesome apartment complex. Life seemed to be getting good for them. At least that's what they thought. Pete had another black friend he would hang with named Sunshine because of his light skin, because he was red-boned. They were being raised in good homes with well-educated parents that were gainfully employed. Everything sounds lovely, right? Afraid not. Let's not forget about their neighbors and the greasers who were not happy about this rising black presence in their precious neighborhood. To show their disdain, the greasers would chase Pete, Sunshine, and the rest of the black children to and from school daily, throwing bricks, rocks, Molotov cocktails, and whatever else they could find at them. According to Sunshine, there were times where they were being hunted like dogs. There were times where they were being hunted like dogs by these white teenagers. Niggers, porch monkeys, spear chuckers, and spades were some of the slurs being yelled at them daily while playing outside. I'll finish this off. You start the next page. Mafia wise guys would give the order to these gangs to terrorize blacks out of their frustration toward integration. There was no avoiding this harassment because at the time, the blacks were literally the minority to meet the integration quota. Some buildings housed only 4 to 5 black families as compared to thousands of whites. In an environment like this, one can only imagine the level of racial torment that these children had to endure on a day-to-day basis. All right, so this is the beginning of hip-hop.
I just want to say, babe, your voiceover is really dope.
Thank you.
That's why I chuckled. I said, "Oh man, it reminds me of like when you're doing something, when you're on one of your jobs." Yeah,
You be hearing that all the time walking around in here.
yeah.
Slide on up. But your voice is dope.
All right. 1967. One day at lunch, after a typical morning of harassment, a black child named Mike, BKA Fat Mike, and some of his friends were discussing how their tolerance and patience for this treatment was growing very thin. The bullying was nonstop, yet the police did nothing. These kids began to realize that they were the ones that could do something about, that they were the only ones, very, very crucial, thank you, that they were the only ones that could do something about their current situation. They concluded that the only way to handle this dilemma was to unite and form an organization, so to unite and organize.
Okay.
Okay.
Both.
And
Both
organize based on their survival and self-preservation.
All right.
They called themselves the Savage Seven and the Bronx Rebel Teenagers before finally settling on the name the Black Spades. The Black Spades began with an original 7 root members. Fat Mike, Michael Wayne was one of the original 7. Pete and Sunshine were definitely in the first division and may have been in the original 7, but the identities of other members remain a mystery. Until now.
Until now. Okay, so is this
Yes.
is this part 1?
We can, yeah. We'll
You
scroll.
got something to say?
I think so. Scroll
Okay.
up. Okay, y'all. This is Sunshine. Rising power to the ancestor. He passed away while I was writing this book. Rising power to the ancestor, Sunshine. He was definitely one of the original Black Spades.
All right. So,
So scroll up. Keep scrolling.
hold up. They can't see it.
Oh,
Scroll up.
yeah.
Okay, hold up. Let me pull it back for that. How far?
Go back up.
Up?
No, down. I'm
Down.
sorry.
All around. Which,
Yeah, keep going. All right. Let me see.
we haven't even read this part, right?
Nuh-uh.
Okay.
That's I just wanted to look at it right quick to see. Keep going. I mean, not go come back so we can read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I know, right?
They
She
try to
said
be-
he. No, but that's real.
they try to
That's
be
real. I
funny.
like
Yeah,
that,
I'm
yo.
just like, you know what you want.
I
Yeah.
like that. Okay, let's see. I'll read this part, then I can build on what I want to build about. That's why I just want to look at it right quick. All right,
you
moving
good, babe.
forward. They looked at themselves as nothing less than a liberation front. Their ideologies were based upon the influence of 3 people. One was a mystery member from the Nation of Islam, who may have been the main teacher of order and self-defense. Their other influences were the teachings of Malcolm X and the concepts, ways, and actions of Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, the Black Panther Party. The Black Spades come from a long lineage of black organizations who suffered from the same racial hatred that has been expressed throughout American history. They were the children of the disenfranchised whose message was simple. Integration is not what whites truly want, and we still must do what we got to do to take care of self. Now, we can stop right there right quick so I got some of these things. I was like mystery people and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
I got some names. You know what I'm saying? So,
Scam likely.
Scam likely.
Want to
Excuse me,
become
y'all.
famous?
Y'all already know that. Excuse me. All right. So, one of the names, if I scroll back up here, it says that they looked at themselves as a liberation front. The other influences were teachings of Malcolm X. Was a mystery. One was a mystery member from the Nation of Islam, who had been the main teacher of order and defense. This mystery member, his name is David Brockington.
David, I got you.
He's a banner.
I got you.
Yeah, David Brockington is one of the he's one of the founding people of the Black Spades period, and he was in the Nation of Islam. Another person, Rob O. Rob O. and David Brockington are the 2 people who started the Black Spades.
All right.
Just like the first 2 presidents, you know what I mean? And
So for people who don't know, or who haven't been following us pretty much all these years that we've been journeying through this, the Black Spades are important because this is pretty much the founding group. Them and the Ghetto Brothers are pretty much the founding groups of hip hop, or the gangs that hip hop.
Yes.
When people say that hip hop comes from gang stuff, one thing that this book really covers is a lot of what that is and how that actually happened. And we talked about that a lot. And we talked about the death of Black Benji. And we talked about the peace treaty and all of that stuff. But another reason for this book, and I'm glad Phatz wrote it, is because we noticed whenever we watch different documentaries that a lot of times the black influence is kind of skirted over. Now, we consider black and brown to pretty much be the same. You Hispanic, I know many Hispanic black people, so I don't really discount. I don't really separate us that much. My cousins, my son could easily be a Hispanic guy, or whatever, and both his parents are black. So it's not really, we don't really make those separations. That's more a nationality thing. But still, just due to the nature of certain, sometimes it's not even racism. Like you said, back in the day, every documentary film crew didn't necessarily feel like they could just go into Black Spades territory and shoot a documentary.
Right.
Whereas they felt a little easier around the ghetto brothers who were known for being peaceful, more
Yeah,
peaceful.
I mean, they had a storefront.
And,
They had a storefront
and they would
people
play
could go
music
to.
and
Right.
yeah, so they just had a little bit of a friendlier
approach.
appeal,
A little
and,
bit more political.
Yeah.
Yeah, more savvy
Yeah.
with the politics.
So I think that the media felt a lot more comfortable asking them. I'm sure if they felt more comfortable going and talking to the Black Spades, they would have. But then you do have racism, like, and I don't want to leave that out. Then you have just the fact that some people don't want to talk to Black people about
their issues,
about
or whatever.
originating.
Yeah.
You know, what ended up being hip hop. So a lot of times when they're going back in time trying to put a piece together a lot of this stuff, the Black Spades influence is left out. And it's left out heavily. And then you start finding out that all these same people, Kool Herc and a lot of these other people, are either in the Black Spades or their cousins was in the Black Spades or whatever. A lot of these people are in the Black Spades. And it was very hard. Phatz had to dig and scratch and scrape through information, through the dusty files. That's why this joint looks like that, to get.
It looked like a file. That's what it was. So big up to Michael Wayne TV. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
because it wasn't for him.
real.
Yeah, he pieced together a lot because he's an original Black Spade. And it's like, and this lends itself towards we should tell our own story. And this goes for anybody, you guys. Are you anything? Name it. You Guyanese, you Irish, you a Brazilian, whatever. It's up to you to tell your people's stories, right? It's up to you to tell your neighborhood story or whatever, because a lot of the stuff gets lost in the sauce when we start letting celebrities and documentary crews tell our stories, and they only talk to this group of people that they thought were the experts, but they're going to tell it their way, and you got to go to the horse's mouth and get better information. So
Yeah.
but that also means that information might be faulty too, and so that's where this video comes in, wanting to tighten up some of the information or fill in some of the blanks.
And then you got to factor in time. Okay, you get Africa Bambaataa or you get a Grandmaster Flash. You know what I'm saying? Rhubarb.
What's up, Rhubarb?
My man. You know what I'm saying? And you'll get a Kool Herc in an interview, but okay, he's in that controlled studio environment. Now he has to explain the whole entire culture of hip hop in a 10-minute session.
They're editing down what he said to
right.
fit,
Then they breaking down, and so now it comes out. People in the hood upset. Wah.
Because you know what? I ain't never thought about that. He might have said something in the interview, and that includes KRS, Bambaataa, and all of them.
Well,
they may have said more about the Black Spades when they were interviewed, and then the people who edit the video down cut a lot of it out to make
and just be like, okay, we just gonna make the Black Spades this game.
Yeah, and we'll just
whatever,
I ain't got time to really have him talking but so long. Let me get down to the meat and potatoes.
Right.
And that's not sensational enough. The Black Spades.
Right. I ain't really ask about them. I'm trying to hear about you b-boying.
I want to hear about the b-boying and the DJing. I don't want to hear about the racism.
I don't want to hear about the
the
hood community service stuff.
And the rubble that you're living in and why you're living in this rubble.
Because I know why that happened.
Right.
But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Because I did a report on that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you know what I mean? So
that's just to put some context on what Phatz was saying.
Yeah.
So so you said some of the names. What else? And welcome in new people who are coming in.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah, peace. I was just saying that's interesting because I'm finding that out with y'all kind of, actually I took these notes a while ago, but building with everybody to let you know that not only one, I'm just kind of jumping off what you just said. The Black Spades are a very pivotal group for a number of reasons that got overlooked. And again, it's not really for no truth, because again, hip hop culture commercially and through the celebrities starts at 73. So a lot of stuff, they just kind of kicked everything up from 73. So all of the history kind of starts from there. This is pre-73. This book stops in 72. You know what I mean? So that's what this book is about.
The culture of hip hop before the elements.
It can't be ignored, and one of the main reasons why it can't be ignored any longer is because this is the stuff we need to be teaching the children about when we're teaching them about hip hop first. Right. It's like, okay, well, you actually should be taking care of yourself in the hood. You don't like how the police treating you. The school system whack. Right. They ain't got good food in the school system. You could actually start an organization and buck. And now you can we can teach the children all kinds of ways. We can make it we can get more jiggy. They didn't have any resources. Now remind you, they around 6,000 abandoned buildings in the Bronx being burnt down and all that. So these are children who had nothing. So we're in a better position, which is why this comes in. For the what I call for real a new era of hip hop, which is coming upon us now. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a new way of teaching hip hop. It's gonna be a new way of teaching the culture. Less misogyny, more equality with the men and the women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All this, it has to happen though, and we have to show these kind of things truly, and not just talk about it in front of our children, and stop being hypocrites, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's not just this work. This, to me, this work of art, it's not just for the babies, but it's also for the different races who enjoy hip hop's fruits. Hip hop has a lot of fruitylicious things that other races, other countries, even other states outside of the original, sound off place, which was New York. Everybody has benefited. The world has benefited and made a lot of money off hip hop. But then there's hip hop's kind of dirty past that starts with all of this racism and these hard times, these cowboy ass times that these people are living in, like just right there in a so-called civilized, in a so-called non-racial type city like New York that's not supposed to be racist. And it's all this gang violence, not just at the hands of these browns and blacks and whites in the poor whites and stuff in New York, but also, like you said, the Irish and the Italians and all of that stuff. The mob. The mob is gangs, right? The word gangster, the word mobster, all that stuff comes from. So that's us emulating that, really. That's everybody really emulating that. But that being said, we're getting the shitty, look at you guys destroying yourselves badge, and then meanwhile the Sopranos get the that's sexy badge. Right. So a lot of this changes the perspective of that and makes you realize that when you're talking about some gangs, especially in New York, you talk about hip hop, baby. You can't separate that out of there. And then make it just cute and make it about spinning on your head. And then when somebody starts talking about this, you don't want to hear about it. And you're like, I'm not political. It's like, well, the hell if you ain't.
And then the gangs have a whole nother history because the first gangs are white gangs.
Right.
White gangs have a whole nother history to them. White gangs are ex-vets. They have rifles, cars. They are all white. Ghetto Brothers, Black Spades have whites, blacks, Latinos,
right.
and all of them.
Black gangs are multiracial.
All of them.
But white
all
gangs are white.
Right, but the white gangs are white. They are white. That's it. They have the backing of the police. Some of them are the police on the low.
Right, that's right.
And they won't no joke. When you watch documentaries, you see the elders be like, yeah, there was certain parts we just couldn't go to. You know what I'm saying? What up, Quincy?
What's up, Quincy?
Peace.
Thank
you know what I'm saying?
And Rhubarb, what's up? We said Rhubarb, what's up officially? And again, Redbird, always nice to have you.
Yeah, you already know. You know what I'm saying? So, there were certain parts that cats couldn't go because of these gangs. You had War Pigs. You had the
What are you talking about? The white gangs?
Yeah, War Pigs was one of them. The Golden
You said the
Guineas.
The
Fordham Aggies. You know what I mean? Now, the ones I named in this group, in this book, are older ones. These are the greaser gangs. These are like the 50s. These are the ones that were out in the Bronx before the Black Spades even came. Like Black Spades is the first and the Ghetto Brothers is next. You know what I'm saying? As far as, that's why the Black Spades are pivotal too, for a lot of reasons. They're the first minority organized people in the street who was like, all right, let's get together and make a gang.
Yeah, because they call them a club. I noticed that when we were watching Rebel Kings, they call them a club. They call themselves a club a lot of times and not a gang. They say gang too. They said the word gang.
Right.
But they called themselves a club.
It was a brotherhood. Like,
That's
remember,
right.
like Yellow Benji, Rising Power to the Ancestor, he was saying that the Ghetto Brothers was a brotherhood. It started out with just his three literal biological brothers. And they had a lot of influence, and a lot of press, so a lot of people was, liked them or whatever. So they were like, oh, okay, so let's do that. And again, in the environment that these gangs were in, that brotherhood and sisterhood, when you watch the documentaries or you watch interviews, that was all they had. Some of them, because again, the heroin is crazy. A lot of these people's parents are strung out or working, doing the best they can to, make ends meet. But it's rough. And so sometimes these organizations was all they had. The main thing with the Black Spades is I wanted to show, and not just for the Black Spades, but for every gang, is that most of them, especially the bigger, more organized gangs, because you had bigger ones, you had smaller ones, all started like this. With, okay, we need to clean up the hood, we need to get together and do a bike gang.
It was a remedy.
It was, right, a remedial, what do we call them? I even called them in this book, and thanks to you, because you really came up with this, a remedial coalition.
Yeah.
That's really what they are. You know what I mean?
And I'm funny because I remember when we was in school and people would be in the remedial classes, and that used to just be associated with something being wrong with you or something like that. But remedial means remedy. It's just the root of it is remedy. So a remedial coalition is just a bunch of people who come together. Really, a corporation. This is how corporations started before the corporations being able to be a person and operate, just kind of almost with impunity and do whatever they want to do and not have any limit as to what they can do. They used to come together really just specifically for one purpose. So it's the same way with gangs. It's like, well, we didn't we wouldn't have formed a brotherhood if we didn't feel threatened by the police or feel like we were being targeted or feeling like, you know, all we got is us type of feeling. You do this kind of stuff, but they didn't just come together to beat each other's ass. And even though that was a part of it, and let's not leave that out, but they were coming together to do certain things in the hood, and a lot of them really got a lot done in the hood. And again, hip hop was one of the offshoots of this energy. So when we fast forward to now, that's why it's so crazy that the book will come out, because this is just we didn't plan this. You know, the book comes out right in the heat, literally right before George Floyd got killed. Last year on Malcolm X's birthday, in the heat of COVID-19. And COVID-19 is a time where buildings are burning, police are beating people's ass, police are killing people. People don't know what to do. People are losing money. People are losing jobs, right? So it's the same here, just in a small sense. And this is what came out of it. I would say stuff like this came out of COVID, like the streaming revolution, the DJ revolution, and stuff like that that's happening on Twitch.
Right.
But this right here, they were feeding each other, getting medicine to each other, getting people tested for stuff, some whole other stuff. So so it's Fat. The reason I'm pointing here is because Phatz got the hardback, baby. Listen.
Right.
It makes noise because it's real. It's not digital, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's dope.
They really did a great job printing this up and everything. All right, so
big up to Proven Publishing. You know what I'm saying? Key Designs. You know what I'm saying?
As we said, for those who want one, you can get it by just hitting us up right this minute. You can get it by hitting us up in our inboxes or DMing us and let us know, and then we'll exchange information with you. Figure out how you want to pay for it. Do that, and then we'll mail it right to you. So we've already mailed out a bunch of them. Phatz has sold a bunch of them already, so we got another shipment coming in, and we are ready to serve y'all. So were you done reading, or is it my turn to read, or were you done saying what you had to say?
Yeah, that was pretty much all I was saying, was just that we were just going over the importance of the Black Spades in hip hop. They were one of the ones to first throw block parties. Just to give y'all a couple examples, or maybe we'll probably read on. So
okay, well, let's read on and see what we got. Cause, all right, we're making some decent time here. So,
if you can, pop on down.
Where were we at? You read that too?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I read all of that. Yep. You got to take care of yourself. Yep.
Integration. Yeah, that is what you read. All right. So I think it's my turn, actually.
Yep.
All right. So that's just a picture of Vietnam and stuff.
And Vietnam is very important. My revised version I'm going to dive a little bit more into. I read other books on the history and around the same time. Vietnam has a whole lot more.
It plays a big role in hip hop. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Because even Karate Pete said that. He was like, you know, a lot of us coming from the military and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And that violent rage, that violence that they were taught, and seeing what they had to see over there, people died. And now we're going to put you back in the Bronx that we just burnt down to.
So. Wow. So that's what the movie Dead Prez is about. Dead Presidents? Yeah, that's what that's about. Yes. Yeah, he goes to the war. He comes back to the hood. So they make you a killing machine. Right. You see people get their legs blown off and stuff like that. You come back home to the crazy hood. It's racist. The same country that taught you all that patriot kind of brainwashing type stuff. You can't buy a bucket. As soon as you get back, you're supposed to be this man who would die for your country and all this other stuff, and then you get back and your country don't even want you, treat you like a reject and stuff like that. So he started to go insane. He was working at the butcher shop, being triggered. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think you should definitely get into it. So speaking of Karate Pete, so let's go. The Black Spades original First Division lived by a very disciplined regiment. They practiced organized martial arts and military training exercises. This must be where Pete becomes Karate Pete. They did not smoke or drink. The Spades felt this strict lifestyle. This is the earlier Spades, the first regiment, like he said, the first division. Yes. The Spades felt this strict lifestyle was best suited for such a racially hostile environment. This was the 60s. People's awareness of racism reached a pinnacle due to the new media machine called the television. Blacks and Latinos could see that they were not alone. This wasn't just local. It was an international issue. Whites were more irate than ever about this new idea of race relations. Women had their issues and complaints. The Vietnam War was a social failure. There was something in the air. There was no time for foolishness. Besides, the Black Spades' parents weren't having it. The early Spades took their colors off before they went in the house. Remember, it was a nice neighborhood, and their parents were now tasked with trying to do what the Romans do. Fat Mike's mother found out he was in the Black Spades by watching the news one night on TV. The thesis here is that the Black Spades have not been documented in their original flavor. Quiet as kept, the Black Spades was the first organized minority street gang in the South Bronx. Before the burning Bronx we all know about, the original Black Spades were just children facing some serious opposition. Yes, they were the largest, most notorious gang in New York, but it didn't start out that way. It began as a unit of security for self and kind in a socially brutal environment. They were a regiment of change and protection for their people. Their first enemies were racist gangs and a system designed for their destruction. All right. So, any revisions to do there?
No. We can keep it popping.
All right. Yeah, I can keep reading, or you? What you want?
I guess I can get it here. Historically, the original Black Spades have rarely received the attention or credit they deserve. This may be due in part to the fact that racism gave birth to their organization. I've noticed that the media loves to harp on the gang Gestapo aspect of the Spades movement. And this is the gang Gestapo. This is the cut sleeves.
And then we learned that in one of those meetings that a lot of the gangs had Gestapo departments and units.
Yes.
Hey, Kai.
Yeah.
Hey,
Kai.
Because they were, again, patterning themselves after Hell's Angels and stuff like that and just wanted to seem as ruthless and raw as possible. So, and like you said, they would rub the jackets in dirt, spit on the jacket, do all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, to the jacket to like break it in and all that stuff. So they had their rituals that just dealt with being in the gang and seeing yourself as a warrior.
And the Gestapo division of the gangs, because like I said, each gang had it. Those were the hardcore cats. They were the ones that disciplined their own when their own got out of line. Say one of their own robbed somebody grandma or something. All right, then they got disciplined by the Gestapo division of their particular gang. And they also were the ones, that's where the Warlord division is, the Gestapos. Those are the ones who set the war. The generals, if you're looking at an organization, the Gestapo, that's the military, actually. Everything else about the Black Spades, you got people who DJ'd. You got people who threw parties. You got people who organized, who organized the people in the hood and whatever at the same time. So every aspect of any of these organizations isn't just self-defense and
It's just like the military. Everybody in the military doesn't stab people with bayonets. Some people cook potatoes and peel potatoes.
Right.
It's just that they have gone through the rough regimen of joining the military, that boot camp.
Right. Some people draw the maps too. You know, and the
so
rest
it's same
some
here.
people,
They've gone through boot camp. Like when you play the
right.
Warriors game and you are Rembrandt, who is, right from the movie. When you're Rembrandt, your job, I mean, they beat your ass and stomp you in. You got to last. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's how the game starts. But then after that, your job is to go around and tag in people's territories and do stuff like that or whatever. So he, they weren't expecting him to do all the karate because he's an artist.
Exactly.
So a lot of them, the people got to make these jackets too.
Yeah. So you had a lot. But again, let's not.
And I know from being in the Zulu Nation and Union that I'm one of those people who will be making people. I've made cut sleeves. I've made 3 or 4 cut sleeves, you know what I'm saying, in my lifetime or whatever. Not quite like this, but in my own way. And in fact, I don't know how easy it is for you to put your hand on it, but at some point I would like to show them that cut sleeve. Is it in your closet?
Which one?
Anyone.
Yeah,
anyone you think. Yeah, so we'll show y'all those in a minute. Soon, actually.
Yeah, I can show you this one right now.
Yeah, is that in there?
I think so.
So they can see
you know
it.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay, cool, because it's right there.
Right, and I think let's not disclude women too. We like to do that too. So a women's role, we're probably looking at women probably helping out with this stuff too.
Well,
so.
you know that we're helping out because you talking about sewing and stuff like that. Not that men can't sew, because there's plenty of people that were men that were making these jackets. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad you said that. People's
a lot of women were
sisters
helping out,
stuff like that, and probably even their mamas. In certain instances, depending. Yeah, so.
Because sometimes, and I'm glad you said that, because sometimes these gangs, the situations in the Bronx were so bad that sometimes these gangs were the police. I mean, like, the older people went to the gangs instead of the police, because the police was so whack. A lot of these people would go to the gangs to get justice or problem solved in the hood. Hey, look, somebody robbed us, or can you get these drug dealers from off my block? And the gangs would be like, yo, y'all got to stop selling dope. I mean, really, it was like that. You know what I mean? That's what, you know what I mean? They were really they really policed the hood. They were like, really making sure that.
Just like the Godfather. Somebody bucked somebody for their money or whatever. You could go to the Don. Remember the whole wedding scene in the front of one of the movies while they're at the wedding. They're just showing how he can't even chill.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to see The Godfather because they had all of these neighborhood problems that they were trying to get solved. You know,
Right.
he owes me money, he won't give me my money. You know, and it's just like, all right, this is what I'll do. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. So you know that they have that in all gangs. It makes sense. It makes sense. 'Cause you got a lot of power. You got a lot of power. You got a lot of resources at your disposal. Got a lot of manpower for sure.
So
you can get some shit done.
So yeah. So that's what's up. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So when you look at that.
Joselito El Guerrero, how you doing?
Peace.
Hey,
what's
hey,
up?
big ups.
Yes, sir.
Dope.
We see the flag.
Yeah, I see it. Yo,
Yes,
that's
sir.
dope. That's dope.
Yes, sir.
All right, inspired sounds. Hey, bit like the mafia, exactly like the mafia.
Yeah,
gangs,
no question.
mob, all that stuff, and it's just interesting. So we use a lot of these same terms, all that stuff. It comes from the mafia. Most of our a hitman, like you said,
hitman,
drive-by.
gangster, drive-by, all of that.
Yeah.
You know, all that comes from that's all mafia stuff. You know
But
what I mean?
it's interesting though. That's why we got to do this again. When you see the rebranding of what they tried to do with the gangs in the 90s, when it came time to destroy the peaceful movement that hip hop was at that time.
Yeah, they used the gangs.
They used the gangster isms and that's an aspect of our lives. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying they made it up, but they decided to put those rappers in those movies and try to change everything, and they were very successful. But during the rebranding, they were successful in making all of us think about a hitman. If you think about a drive-by, for sure, we thinking about the Bloods and the Crips.
Yeah, no question.
But then, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, though. What about the Tommy guns? I grew up watching Bugs Bunny and all of that.
Yeah.
They had the
on a car.
In a car
Yeah,
with the gun with the plate thing on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Clip.
That's like the bullets is in
clip,
there, whatever.
yeah.
So, it's just interesting the way the media can do that sometimes and really successfully make you forget that, okay, wait a minute, the first time I ever heard of a mobster was Europeans, you know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean anything. We're just saying, like, don't pin it all on us. It's everybody.
Yeah, that's all.
That's
we're
all.
not the
That's all we
originators.
saying.
We're not the originators of that particular stuff. And so when you're looking at an OG or somebody like, I'm a gangster, I'm a true gang, I'm a thug, I'm all that, that's not original.
Yeah. Even the word thug. Yeah, you get hired thugs and stuff. That stuff comes from mafia.
No, that comes from mafia. Those are all mafia terms.
Yeah.
That a lot, again, New York influenced us a lot. West Coast too. You know, the mafia's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of mafia, you know, again, you put a microscope, we put a microscope on a Black Spades night, but you put a microscope on a drug game, and it's just a relationship in between Italians and blacks and Colombians and all these people we keep hearing about in these rhymes and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's just a relationship in the streets in between them to murder, to basically, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, to tear up an environment or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Take over, yeah.
So.
Hey, what's up, DJ Cruz? How you doing, fam? It's always good to have you. Definitely enjoyed you earlier, and that was fun. So.
Oh yeah, man, that was one. Yo, you know,
fun.
again, you don't get cold flow every day on wax.
Nobody don't never play no cold flow.
I really appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate
people act
that.
like,
you know,
again.
For real, sometimes you when especially right quick, sorry, little
No,
segue.
you good.
But when it comes to cold flow or like Raucus and you used to work for Raucus, so that's really dope.
That's really dope, yo.
I like to interview you one day, man. That would be dope. You know what I'm saying? People just don't play to nobody that they really get. People draw a blank, especially the youth. They draw a blank when Raucus Records comes up. I'll be like, well, Raucus Records was the one that held me down. I was about to let hip hop go a little bit.
You in the dark,
go right to
I
was about to let hip hop go and go to reggae a little bit till Raucus came through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yo.
Raucus held me down, man. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
man, they was on point, and Cold Flow was our stuff. Like I said, that's my favorite LP. You know, and I haven't purchased all the new Run the Jewels, but I have heard enough. You know, it's a lot more kind of cyber aged sounding and more sonic. I like that raw, dirty sound that it used to have with Cold Flow and Rusty Jukes and all them. So give me that any day. But yeah, it's nice to see you. Here, can't find them joints anymore. So that's so crazy. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I got a big day coming up on Saturday, so I doubt I'll. Because then there's tomorrow and Thursday. There's tomorrow and Friday. You know me, I like to pop up a lot. I'm going to try not to pop up because I got 2 events on Saturday. Okay, so look, we reading from this book, man. My man done wrote this book, man, because he's an author, man. And you guys, if you're ever thinking about writing a book, write it because you will get all the vajayjay. Women and people love an author. You'd be like, oh, I got a book. You got a book? Wow. But then it's like, here it is, you know. Now, we've been selling the ebook for a whole year, and it really did well, made us money, helped support our family, especially during the pandemic, and it helped get this man off the shipyard, and it's a beautiful work of art. But having this thing right here where you could do like that, oh my God, y'all.
It's generational.
And it's well written, and what it's about is something that I think, as a metaphor, is something that no one should ever forget. Whenever you start arguing about who's the best and who does the rhymes the best and all that. All of that is cute. But then we don't need to be in the dark when it's time to figure out what to do for our people in situations where we feel like no one cares about our people, no matter what your people are, who your people are. If you feel like don't nobody care about your situation and the government and the people done turned their back on you, there's always your own hands and feet, fam. So that's what this book is really about, and I love it. And Professor Griff of Public Enemy named this book. Yes, he did. Look at that. This is Phatz interviewing Professor Griff right here. I took this picture of Public Enemy. You know what I mean? He named the book when he visited after this. And it had another book. It had another name. And he was like, well, why don't you call it Off Stage? He was like, promise me you'll finish it. Phatz was like, hell yeah. You know. Well, not promise me, but he was like, make sure you finish it. You know what I mean? So, and Phatz did. You know. All right, so we're reading from it, and we're just talking about the Black Spades. Phatz learned a lot of new stuff since this writing. Or some new stuff. So we just kind of want to revisit that.
And just kind of in a quick review, just like quick again, I mentioned in this book, you'll see I had Mr. Remember, and earlier, for those of y'all who won't hear, we had Rob O. We found that Rob O. and David Brockington are the first two founding members of the Black Spades, period. One in the Nation of Islam, and Rob O., who studied the teachings of the 5% Nation, Malcolm X, and him and Rob O. was cool. So it looks like we're dealing with someone from the Nation of Islam and arguably a 5%er. That starts the Black Spades.
Okay, so read on. Is it you? It's you, right?
Yeah. The Gestapo were one of a few security sects in the Black Spades. It was orchestrated by a thorough ancestor named Spider of the 10th Division. And according to my research, the Gestapo didn't start until 77 or 78. And that's 10 years into the Spades' existence, and it was a sect of the organization. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think I need to go back a little earlier than these dates.
Yeah.
So my revised version is going to have a lot of corrections as well, because the whole gang thing ended around 75. Africa Bambaata's cousin Solsky get killed by the police in 1975, and a lot of people say that was it. You know, and there, of course, a quick reminder as after the gang peace treaty that the Ghetto Brothers put together in 71, December, like February 72, the police, who were unresourceful, you know what I'm saying, who didn't seem to have any resources, all of a sudden started the anti-gang task force after all the gangs decided to be at peace. So from 72 to 75, you had a gang called the Purple Mothers, which, through my research, was actually some ex-vets, police, ex-Marines, whose only mission was to kill gang leaders and arrest them. Undercover, but kill them because they seemed like they were another gang. So you could turn a gang war into the police under this group called the Gang Mothers actually killing gang members or whatever. So that's what was going on according to research or whatever. So 75, so from 72 to 75, the gangs did the best they could to exist, but after Solsky got killed by the police, everybody was like, all right, you know what I mean, we're good. You know what I mean? So
I feel you.
Yeah.
Solsky got killed by the police.
Solsky got killed by the police.
So that made it that really made it die down.
That was it. January 6, 1975. After that, the gangs was like, all right, everybody started really kind of, and that's when, if you notice, 75 is when b-boying picks up heavily.
Tremendously.
It becomes way more organized because the gangs is like, all right, you know what I mean? Let me just
channel that energy somewhere else.
Let me become security at these parties. Let me start DJing. Let me start MCing. Let me start b-boying, and a lot more. And the gangs are mostly b-boys. The b-boys, you know, was
the gang. Yeah, b-boy ain't got a lot to do with gangs. What's up, Kobe?
No, what up, Kobe?
And again, y'all, his picture, his profile picture is always is a great profile picture because it's these times that we're talking about. You know, that's the Warriors. That's from the Warriors. So yeah. So see how they do though? You try to have peace, and it's like, oh, let's go start killing some more gang members and make it go crazy. You know, some more.
Right.
All right.
So the Spades' existence, and it was a sect of the organization. The Gestapo are not a positive group of people to be named after, but the whole gang movement based their tough outlaw image on the Hells Angels. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think you about to show them.
So here's the Hells Angels. Everybody knows about them.
Yeah.
Me or you?
I'll keep going. But if no one is judging the New York City government for their political tactics toward the South Bronx, then no one should be looking at the misguided children of the South Bronx to be moral citizens. The Black Spades grew from Bronxdale, Bronx River, and Soundview to other boroughs of New York. They went on to organize divisions in New Jersey and Connecticut. All right, now you can go.
Oh, you might as well read it. Well, okay, it don't matter.
Yeah, I can finish it if you want. Go ahead.
You think when an organization grows to this magnitude, it's hard to keep the original principles in place. Over time, leadership got younger, and the Bronx was steadily changing for the worse, and with it, their ways and means changed. Yes, they became a violent gang. Right here.
Pause on that. Yeah.
Let's go. That's what I've been wanting.
All right. So this right here is one of the biggest mysteries when I started researching the Black Spades and the Zulu Nation, because Black Spades Zulu Nation are pretty much the same organization. You know what I mean? To be honest, you know, if you look close, we put a microscope on it. So the Black Spades, if you look at organizations under the Black Spades banner that contribute to hip hop, you have Zulu Nation, you have the Casanovas, who was Flash's security, and I'm about to build with you on how the Casanovas started, when they started, all that, and why and how this happened. How did they go from a liberation front to a gang?
Right.
And it's like, oh, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so let's put a microscope on it. I found some information. You can put our microscope on it or whatever. And so what happened was, basically, it was time for the younger generation. It was time for David Brockington and Rob O to pass it down. Okay. Rob O gets locked up. So D Brock, I call him D Brock, which was he's the Nation of Islam person. He's in the Nation of Islam. He took over, right? Mm-hmm. But he could not keep up with what you just read. You know what I mean? Over time, leadership got younger, and the Bronx was steadily changing for the worse. Gotcha. So the environment and the younger Spades now that you are organized and you do got division somewhere, and you were able to kind of take care of what your problems was. You got the junkies out the hood. You got the white violence out the hood. You took care of all that. You got the whack cops out the hood. You got everything out the way. Hell, y'all started the Chuck City crew. DJ Chuck, Disco King Mario, Disco King Mario, who was a Black Spade, whose cousin was one of the original 7. Disco King Mario was a Black Spade. Mm-hmm. Love Buck Starsky was a Black Spade. Paradise Gray hung around the Black Spades in his younger days, and he mentioned when we interviewed him. Remember, he mentioned the Black Spades they were definitely a liberation front when they started. But what we're building on is how did that change? So what happened was the people just got younger. So once you got one division, you'll read right here, you got 50 divisions in the Bronx. We'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. So you got 50 divisions in one borough. Then you got people in Jersey. You got the other boroughs with Black Spades. You got Connecticut. It's hard. D. Brock can't keep everybody reading the lessons, keeping up with the teachings, not being sober. Asking everybody to be sober, asking everybody to practice your martial arts, asking everybody to be a discipline. When you got that core group who were initially the ones being attacked, and it was an urgent mission in 67, 68 when the Black Spades started, because the racism was crazy. So it's easy to get 10, 12, 16, 25 brothers to not smoke, not drink, do martial arts, listen to the lessons, read the teachings of Clarence 13X, read the teachings of other NOI, and get them organized. But when you start branching out, it gets hard. So in that frustration, D. Brock steps down. Okay? So there's a member by the name of Supreme Counselor Monk. So you hear of him now, like he became the supreme president or the overall runner of the Black Spades.
Supreme Counselor Monk?
Let me see.
That's a dope ass name. Oh, it's getting a little better, but I hate this keyboard. Wow, you spelling counselor like that, Nove. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Monk.
Is Supreme Counselor Monk for real?
Well, his name is Monk. His name is just Monk. His title in the Black Spades was Supreme Counselor. Yeah, he became Monk becomes the Supreme President. And when Monk becomes the president, that's when they become a full-fledged gang. So it was under this guy named Monk. So I was hearing Monk's name in the research. Okay. You know, but because I didn't know exactly who he was, I didn't necessarily put him in the book. But now that I know exactly who he is, he's actually, I guess we could say, the reason why the Black Spades started, while I guess not being focused on the the liberation, aspect of their origins. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, DJ Cruz.
No doubt, brother.
Yeah,
No doubt, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad everybody gets that. That means that my mission is working. My crusade is working. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we definitely need to hear about this because, until we get a hold of us as a culture and what we're really supposed to be doing in our hoods as hip hop should be doing way more for the world than just entertaining them. And that's all, you know what I mean, we're looked at as or whatever. We should be doing way more, especially for our children. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm tired of looking at videos where the hood is jacked up, but everybody in the video got on chains and the cars are dope.
Come on.
But no children in the video.
Come on.
No women in the video with any respect. And then it's just a bunch of cats with all kinds of material stuff on.
And they don't own.
And the kid, and you know what I mean? So we got to kind of get
in
in
the
front of the
hood
babies.
look like Baghdad.
Right. We got to get in front of the babies because quiet is kept, to be honest. I think one of the big differences in between hip hop artists or a rap artist in the 80s, 90s versus 2000s and on is that the hood let the radio know back in the day. The hood let everybody know who was hot.
You're right.
Nowadays, you can be picked. A rapper can be made, manufactured, not necessarily have a big hood upbringing, but can just kind of still be made into a star. And a lot of people got to find out on the ass end nowadays. Oh, damn, I ain't know this dude. I ain't know he rap. You know what I mean? Like, my nephew Isaiah, I took my nephew Isaiah, right, I took him to a showcase, a local showcase a couple months ago. And it was his young friend that he went to high school with that he ran track with or played football with. And the dude was on stage just like act like he's a straight killer. And my nephew was he was weak. He couldn't believe it.
He was like, he didn't grow up like that.
He was like, yo, dude didn't grow up like that. He was like, yo, his mom would punch him in his face if he knew he was in here wilding out like that or whatever.
How you doing, Tanya?
Peace, Sister Tanya Johnson. What's up? You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting, the dynamic, you know what I mean, of hip-hop. So, yeah, Cruz One, I appreciate you. That's why this is important to me because we gotta help these babies out, man. There's a lot of things going on in our hood, man, that I think we're overlooking. I got to look at it like this. Lil was right. We taught in the inner city sometimes, and you'll teach a camp, and my sticker Similia see it, and I've heard this on one of the Zoom meetings I was in, where you'll look at a child, and you had the camp for the whole week. That child wore the same thing every day. But I'm trying to teach that child how to b-boy, and I'm not paying attention to the priority to me in the child. And that's where I think hip-hop needs to kind of hone in on the fact that, wait a minute, hold y'all, before we teach this, hold on, there's something going on.
Spit on his head.
Are you?
Yeah, he
are
wearing
you
the same
good,
outfit
man?
every
Are
day.
you all right? Do we need to go to the yo, hey, hold on, y'all, time out. Something's going on, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I just think we need to be more responsible. That's really the whole.
And that's what
the
early hip hoppers. That's what they did. That's what he described is what they did.
Right.
And I just think it baffles me because we're sitting here powerless sometimes. We don't know what to do. We don't know. Even when it was time when 2020 came and the pandemic came and we were trying to think of things. Yeah, and that. We're trying to think of things. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, no, we're going down a lot of different roads that just are an expression of us being at our wits' end with just all of the pressures of having to try to fit in and what society keeps switching up the rules of what's supposed to be all right and all of that stuff. And then meanwhile, it's just like I still don't have anything to eat, or I still look at myself and I don't like myself because I'm black or because whatever it is, because of all this pressure. So we're looking all over that, talking about a rhyme, talking about a b-boy, talking about some shoes, talking about
who's the greatest
rapper, literally arguing with each other. I've seen people screaming at the top of their lungs, and I know y'all have too, talking about hip hop, talking about who they think is better. We don't do that. Do jazz people argue? They might have debates, but do they argue at the top of their lungs about whether it was Coltrane or Miles or whatever? I mean, I don't think they do. Same with, are we going to not be friends anymore because you like Nas's verse and I like Jay-Z's? You know what I'm saying? But I've seen niggas do that shit. I really have, especially we was all around for the Puffy versus Suge, Big versus Pac. That shit was sad, man. It was sad, but we ate it and we fed it too. Because, you know what I mean, Against All Odds and all that stuff that he dropped, that shit was raw. Like, and Biggie music and all that stuff was raw. And it was East versus West and all that stuff. And the media ate it up. And the MTV ate it up and got rich from it. And them brothers died. And we still don't know who killed them. You know? But when we start looking at who might have, it's looking like it might be the government. Well, then there's that. We
got a whole other book. I got a whole other kind of slight series I'm going to slide in of a book that was written by a man named John Potish that I thought was black. And he's actually white and became passionate about how the Black Panthers was used, you know,
That book there.
I mean, it really went deep. It makes you really look at the Black Panther Party in honestly in a totally different light. But before I move forward, two villagers just stepped into the hut. Big up Floyd Vader. You know what I'm saying?
Big up Floyd
and
Vader.
Big up Dak.
What's
I saw
up,
my
Dak?
man Dak,
Hey,
David Cottrell.
Yeah.
My man, what up, Dak?
What up, Dak?
Old school, y'all. Dak, that's old village. Dak helped us build the hut. You know what I'm saying? That's old. What up, Dak?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's a good example, too, to see NWA go at each other. Yeah, I mean, we can't have anything. You know, we can't have anything.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, you just sitting there watching them just tear each other apart, you know, and the media just eating it up.
But it's interesting in nature. The NWA thing is interesting because you got one member of NWA. That's Eazy-E. He's the one that's dealing with Jerry Heller. Everybody else got a bunch of questions. That be the issue. It be one of us, not necessarily, who is in a place where they can kind of look out for the better interests of the group. But
Right.
because of our lack of the music industry knowledge and our being easy, and I hate to be like this, y'all, but just being influenced by white people in a certain way, psychologically.
Well,
and
one,
mentally,
you know,
what I
you
mean?
gotta say it's true.
And,
I mean,
you
they
know what I'm saying?
wanting
So,
to be
when
other than self and kind. It could be wanting to be another kind of person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like when people be like, it could be we're purple or whatever. It ain't no purple people. Like actual people. Like you could be wanting to be Spanish or white and wanting to be black. None of that is good for anybody. If your culture is Irish, but you hate being Irish, if your culture is Hispanic in some way and you hate admitting that somewhere in there Hispanics are black too or whatever it is, you just got a general problem. So I know you're saying you hate to be this way, but you don't have to say that because it is what it is. Wanting to be other than self and kind. It's like me sitting up here wanting to be. It's like what we were saying about a person really feeling like, well, you know, I'm a woman, or feeling like I identify more with this group of people than I do with my own people. That's always going to kind of put you at odds with self. You know what I'm saying?
With self and kind, no
Yeah,
doubt, no doubt.
okay.
I see. Kobe Hustle. What do I know about the Young Lords? I have a chapter in here about them. As a matter of fact, I know a lot about them.
We can talk about it.
Oh, we gonna build. We can build. We building. Oh yeah, brother.
We can talk
Like,
about
you
it.
can't mention hip hop history, especially in New York, without mentioning the Young Lords. The Young Lords have a chapter in this book. Actually, my revised version, I have to expand on that chapter too. I found out a lot more. I actually I had the blessing of being in a Facebook Live with one of the original. Can't remember the elder's name, David something, but he was an original. He was
Lord.
like he walked with Jose Cha-Cha Jimenez. You know what I'm saying? And as one of the original members that walked with Fred Hampton and them, and you know what I mean, over there in Chicago
See
or
that?
whatever. So
That's
yeah.
the chapter right there, Kobe, about the Young Lords that he wrote, and it's pretty. It to me, it's thorough enough to put them in perspective to what you're trying to say. But it's not like he said, he can really expand on the Young Lords in another. We're gonna go live about them only, like how you doing with the Black Spades.
Yeah,
and that way you can really get into it.
So stay tuned for that. Yeah, because there's more
there's
that
a
I
lot
can do
that
on
can be
them
said
too.
about
But yeah,
that.
but and I'm glad you asked that, Kobe Hustle, because that makes me realize that again, we here at Culture Chronicles, as far as our research and our history, we on the right path. You got to mention them. I in this book there were over 101 gangs in the Bronx at the time. The pivotal ones, when I talk about the culture of hip hop that influenced hip hop, those are the ones I got in this book: Ghetto Brothers, Black Spades, Young Lords Party.
Yep.
Those that's the trilogy to me as far as the political moves that they made. The Young Lords Party was the ones out there with taking the trucks, taking the ambulances, doing TV tests with people. They did a whole lot. Took over the church. You know what I mean? I know a lot about that. No doubt. We definitely gonna build on them.
And
Got
then
to. You know what I'm
Felipe
saying?
Luciano, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Who is what for the Young Lords Party? He's the founding member of
he's one of the founding members of the New York chapter.
Of the New York
when
chapter.
the New York chapter started.
I always
he was
mix
one
it
of the
up
first
with
to-
the Chicago chapter, so I don't want to say that wrong.
Which true indeed, because Chicago is where it started. Jose Cha-Cha Jimenez in '68 started it. Yeah.
But he's the New York
In 69.
version of chapter.
Yep.
In 69. Okay.
Yep.
So he's important because again, he's in the Last Poets,
Mm-hmm.
in the original Last Poets with that really raw poetry
Right.
and doing all of those poems. And Last Poets is considered, if you just take away all the political stuff and just look at the music, Last Poets is considered to be arguably the first group of MCs or a group of people that you can look at to kind of bridge that gap between MCing, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say they're the first MCs, but y'all know what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean,
some people,
you know what I mean?
they've been deemed the rappers of the civil rights movement. So some people have called them that. I found out in my research. But it's the rhyme and the drum, the rhythm and the drum, them and the release of, what's that one? Here Comes the Judge.
Pig Meat Markham.
Pig Meat Markham. The two of them, to me, help out a lot. kind of give you a little bit of a picture. And it also said that the Chuck City crew, Spanky, and one of the Chuck City crew, Spanky, and Disco King Mario, Black Spades, used to play that song a lot. And they would actually play it sometimes with a live drum set. You know what I mean? And so, but this is also pre-mixer. I'm going to have a special guest in the near future. I have a whole nother thing we can do. I'm not going to even get into the equipment. That's a whole nother thing. The whole DJing and equipment, because the Black Spades got something to do with all that too. And it's just, we can really get into a lot with the Black Spades.
Because you're in the dark.
All right. Yeah, so we can get into a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? More with that or whatever. But that's basically, so getting back to the DNA of Flaky Biscuit, that's...
I'm sorry. Level Up Art Movement. How you doing?
Already saw. Yeah, peace.
And
Glad
too, real quick, our money is starting to get back right, so now I can give you them payments. Hopefully you still got it. If you don't, I understand. But if you do, I got you. I haven't forgotten. It's just that we went on this big trip and all that stuff, so I want to make sure that monies was right. And now I can.
We got to do some shifting, brother.
Yeah, we got to do some shifting. So it's starting to do back right again. So appreciate it. But how you doing, brethren? All right. And I know you love poetry, Mama. Shoot, what she said, I love poetry. You do.
Oh yeah.
Your poems are great.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
So, getting back to the DNA of Flaky Biscuit, that is how the Black Spades went from a liberation front to a straight gang. It was just a loss of control with the environment. The population of the Black Spades was outgrowing its leadership, and the leadership was like, all right, we can't make these cats. These cats ain't really, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, there's opportunities in the street for everybody, and there's a lot of other things going on. So when Dave steps down, the elder Monk, who a lot of people know, said that when he became it, they became a full-fledged gang after that. You know what I mean? And Monk is the one people say that, Bam went to Monk. You hearing things like Africa Bambaataa had to go to Monk to get permission to do certain things, throw parties at certain places, because certain people had control of certain territories in these gangs like that or whatever. The Black Spades were organized like that. So if you had each building, and we can get into the buildings in a second, each building had a chapter.
That makes sense.
So that's how many
these
people
buildings are huge.
is in the Bronx, though. You know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying?
It's all good, though, but I just wanted to make sure you knew, because I don't like to do that. I don't like to have somebody holding something for me that represents money for them, and I'm holding it up, and then I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. So that's just me making sure I be a person of my word. And thank you for saying no pressure, because I don't want to feel like I'm pressuring you, you know what I mean, or whatever. But yeah. So, okay. We're going to get into it?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. All right, so Phatz basically he just rounded up the part where he was saying how they became the original ones of them were decent. They didn't smoke, they didn't drink, they were more disciplined, and it was a lot more, I guess for lack of a better word, positive, or it was the original. And all gangs are like this. All gang history is like this. I've never studied any gang, and it didn't start with a different kind of thing in mind, and then it just kind of grew into something else, and that makes a lot of sense, because Walmart wasn't always Walmart. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
At one point, it was Sam's Club or whatever it was. I mean, and it grew into something else. So you read this part. So
you were reading.
I read this part right here. So we were just So yes, they became a violent gang, but if you know anything about the Bronx gang culture that we hear the most about, then you know that it had a political, organized brother-sisterhood side to it as well. The Black Spades were the street organization prototype for the South Bronx. Nice. It has been said that the Black Spades were the largest gang on the East Coast from 1969 to 1974. There were 50 divisions in the Bronx alone. Let's look at this for a minute. The architecture of the apartment complexes of the South Bronx
that were built by Robert Moses
were designed to accommodate a large amount of people using the least amount of real estate possible. Each building was the equivalent of an average neighborhood or subdivision in terms of population. So did you hear that? Let me read it again. Each building was the equivalent of an average neighborhood or subdivision in terms of population. Let's chart some of the buildings to figure out some numbers. So Patterson, we got 1,700 units, pretty much. 4,460 people. Bronx River, we got 3,025 people. Bronxdale, we got 3,497 people. Millbrook, 3,026. Monroe, 2,858 people. So y'all, we're looking at thousands of people per building. Not hundreds, but thousands. All right. So now, if I could find the numbers, I could not find the numbers on Soundview houses, but it was 13 7-story buildings. Since we are roughly estimating numbers, let's go with 3,000 people as the average number of people living in Soundview at the time. That is 19,866 people. So let's round it up to 20,000 or more people to account for unaccounted roommates residing in the South Bronx around because black people don't like to be on no census and all that. So it'd be 7 of us living in there, but according on paper, it'd be 2 of us living there. So you're right. So for unaccounted roommates residing in the South Bronx around the late 60s, early 70s. This could be one of the reasons why the Black Spades were the largest gang in New York. Because Robert Moses put their ass in the projects. Stacked them on top of each other like this. These look like hospitals.
Now remember, at first, if you were with us early in the book, earlier in this chapter, this was a nice neighborhood at first. This was nice. This was actually nice. I mean, from my research, they were maintenance. The lights were changed. There was no graffiti. There was nothing when the early Spades first started moving in. So you're looking at time 64, 65, 66. They starting to move in. 67 is when they've had enough. They started the Black Spades in 67. So that means by the time 67 came around, they had been dealing with this for a little while. So they had moved in, and again, they're minorities at first. But here comes white flight.
Right.
So while white flight comes along, all the white people are leaving. This neighborhood is starting to compress and be filled. And people are coming from Manhattan. People are moving from Brooklyn because Robert Moses is building shit everywhere in New York. And he's giving people a $200 voucher to move here. From Staten Island, from the Bronx, from other parts of the Bronx, from Manhattan, from Queens. And people are just being crammed into the Bronx. You know what I mean?
And people who are maybe not financially. See, that voucher is important.
The largest Latino migration was going on. The Latinos of hip hop that also aided to help create hip hop are the children of the first migrants from the motherland of Puerto Rico. So the first migrants of Puerto Rico to the Americas to look for a better life were the parents of Jose Cha-Cha Jimenez, Felipe Luciano, and them. So
the
Felipe
young lords.
Right, and the young lords. The young lords' parents were the first ones who dealt with that racism firsthand, trying to raise them. And when they get 12 and 13, they like, all right, hold on. You know what I'm saying? And so that's basically, in a nutshell, you know what I'm saying? This, actually the crux and the science of hip-hop.
No, it really is. This is gentrification is at the base of hip hop. If I had to pick one word that really the government anyway had a role in, it was the gentrification of the Bronx and stuff, and it was the strategic. And another thing, because a person listening might say, well, you just said that when the blacks moved in, the neighborhood started going to shit. Well, it wasn't just A and B like that. You're creating an environment on purpose where it's like, okay, well, you want us, okay, federal government, you want us to integrate. We're going to figure out a way to integrate that's going to make the most money for people who invest in buildings and stuff like that. It's bigger than just racism. We're talking about people who see opportunity in this. If you ever go and watch on Amazon, you watch the show called Them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. A really pretty good show. Kind of reminds you a lot of Get Out and not Get Out, Lovecraft Country. It reminds you of that. But it takes place during a time when gentrification is starting to happen, and it's actually Watts, right? Isn't it? It's Compton. It's white Compton before gentrification,
which I learned.
And they started talking about how, like, not only how incredibly racist this place was, and of course it has supernatural elements and stuff that they play with, but it's dealing with the psyche of racism and all of this stuff that happens on these lands that we move on, and how you don't even realize how this kind of stuff lends itself towards all this other stuff that you would never even think about. So when you're talking about hip hop, I'm not gonna make it too long. When you're talking about hip hop, you're talking about gentrification popping in and Robert Moses having a plan to make sure, Robert Moses and the government intentionally causing people to have to destroy themselves, kind of like cutting off services and cutting off funding and zoning and stuff so that funding won't fall in these places. Since you want us to move these blacks in, we're going to move them in, drain the area. We're going to stack them on top of each other so we can use the least amount of land possible. It's going to make everyone crazy. I don't give a damn because I'm Robert Moses. And I'm going to build a highway through here.
The cops are crooked.
The cops are crooked.
The cops are selling dope. So if you go to American Gangster movie, you can get a little bit of side of, okay, Frank Lucas, Nicky Barnes, and them, a lot of other people. We could go on and on. I know a lot of people. I don't know too much about. I know those are the main names I know when it comes to the drug. How that heroin was getting up in New York at the time. It's a madhouse.
You're looking at the government helping you, or in fact letting you and helping you destroy your own neighborhood and self at their benefit. Once it becomes a piece of shit, they come back in and buy it up. People who can't afford to live there no more, they get moved out. And now it's very cheap and it can be fixed up really easy at a big, big profit for these companies, and everyone benefits. Because now the Bronx is nice again. You know what I mean? Or the Bronx is a lot nicer, than it was during this time or whatever. And some of that is the mayor and everything. Some of it was just bad. I'm not saying everything was just to be racist and to destroy black people. Some of it, affected everybody negatively. Nobody in New York was necessarily living that great, even the so-called rich people, because the government was just so crazy. You know what I mean? So who was the one that came in? Is it Ed Koch? One of them came in and kind of cleaned up New York.
Ed Koch was the one that got everything back on track. Ed Koch was the one. Ed Koch murdered graffiti. He dismantled graffiti. You know what I mean? You can ask any graffiti historian. He dismantled it. He made it so hard because he put the barbed wire up around the train. He made it hard. Oh, we got the old school up in here. What up, Winslow? What up, Winslow?
Hey,
yo, man. I saw them pretty twins, man. Saw their birthdays, man. Keep up the good work, old boy. Right quick. I'm sorry to hear that level up. You know what I'm saying, Warren, about your uncle.
About Uncle Sonny.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like, here the Bronx was no joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's real. It's real. And that's one reason why, as much as sometimes it can get on our nerves, that hip hop can have that braggadocious, especially New Yorkers can have that really like ownership of hip hop type mentality.
Yeah.
It comes from such they really are self-made people, and the Bronx was really a crazy place back in the day. So I can understand why they feel so precious about hip hop.
And when Kobe Hustle said something, both my grandmothers were honored as the first two Puerto Rican families to be established. Dope. That's crazy, man. Me and my man D-Man was talking about when you go to certain parts of like Pennsylvania, he was like, it's just nothing but Puerto Ricans.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Dope.
He was like, you would never really think that. He was like, but it's just they you know what I mean? They out there. You know what I mean? That's dope. That is dope. That is dope. You know what I'm saying?
That is dope, yo.
You know what I'm saying?
Puerto Rico stand up anyway. I fucks with Puerto Ricans and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, well, no, again, they us, man.
I mean,
you know,
I don't see no doubt. Yeah.
Again, I know many light-skinned cats we could put in the middle of Puerto Rico that was raised in Norfolk, and we be like
I said, Zachariah. We could take Zachariah, drop him. We could take Akir, who looks just like you, and drop him right off in Puerto Rico.
Right.
And it's people that look just like you and Akir.
And if he starts speaking Spanish,
Puerto Rican.
You won't know. Yeah, you won't know the difference.
But we're gonna do a live about that, about ethnicity and race and stuff, because I know people get that mixed up a lot.
So we're getting into the revised version. We're building on that. The revised version of my book is
actually live, baby.
Is going to have a whole chapter on that.
Go downstairs and some pizza down there.
Oh, wait, you ordered pizza?
Yep, for you.
What person do you go take a shower?
Boom.
My man.
They're growing up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What was I saying?
I'm sorry.
The children throw me off.
We was talking about nationality and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look, see, my mother's side, they all dark Indian. I'm light skinned. See?
Right. You know what I mean? So we're gonna do a whole chapter on pre-Columbian, Concord.
You mean a whole
West
live?
Coast, a whole live. Well, no, a part of my book too, though. On the revised version, I'm gonna do a chapter on why we are the same people as Puerto Ricans, as blacks, and just get into the whole.
It is important because there's a divisiveness that is in hip hop sometimes, and it doesn't need to be there.
It's murdering us. You know what I mean? Where I look up, like for instance, you'll say like Tracy 168 or Super Cool 223. When you look at him, like Super, is he Latino? Is he white? Again, is he light skinned? Because I can't really tell the difference. Do you find out? I found out a post, which I'm going to do one on for just Puerto Ricans too, because there are people who are Puerto Rican like Whip that don't know because he light skinned. But again, because we can't tell the difference. A lot of times
we don't be knowing who,
and we'll just say Whip. We won't say he's Puerto Rican.
Right, I know what you mean.
But he is. Yeah. And a lot of the B-boys, a lot of the a lot of people contributed. Tex, speaking of the Black Spades, Chuck City Crew. Tex of the Chuck City Crew is deemed the first Puerto Rican to DJ in the DJ element. Tex of the Chuck City Crew. You know what I mean? Disco Wiz, I believe, is next. That was DJing with Grandmaster Caz.
Yes.
But,
you better know stuff.
Come on, babe.
You better know stuff, bruh.
We in here. But yeah, so this is how many people. So this is how many people were in the Black Spades. This is why the Black Spades were probably deemed one of the biggest gangs, y'all, because they was as far as where their neighborhood was. Even when you watch The Get Down and old boy went to Bronx River to get with old girl, they even depicted those neighborhoods. Remember, even The Get Down as being tall, had a lot of play. You know what I mean?
Where they were standing on the roof looking out over this big, tall, landscape of buildings.
Landscape of buildings. So, you know, you got a trilogy where Flash is somewhere else, and Flash is southwest of where we are here. And then Cool Herc is like northwest a little bit, and total north is Breakout and Barron. You know what I mean? So.
Now, being that this is about the ladies, let me just read it. So the sisterhood.
Which I have an exact date and name on that too. So
oh, you got some stuff to say. Okay, good. Because I always want to know more about this. The sisterhood counterpart to the Black Spades was called the Aces of Spades, which is dope as hell. They were no joke. I want to say I'm a member, but I'm not. Word is that they got their hands on a serial rapist and took care of business with him. The sisters were side by side with every gang as mothers of children, carriers of weapons like guns, and the support system that the men needed to get through such trying times. The Spades were systematic with a set mind state of beliefs and facts that shaped their order. Their morality was in sync with their self-sufficiency. Preserving themselves was the right thing to do. Their efforts of survival are the foundation of how hip-hop not only came into existence, but the very essence of its nature. When all odds were against them, they took it upon themselves to even it up. I get it. Imagine being a victim of racism every day as a child. Just trying to live your life. Try living in a building in a neighborhood full of people who hate you, but don't even know you. Try grasping your mind around law enforcement feeling the same way about you. Try witnessing the police helping the greasers by taking your weapons, then turning their backs in the middle of a street war. Try having to fight both on. Picture whites move. Picture whites. I like how you capitalize whites. Picture whites. I do that too. Like I'm like, okay, the blacks and the whites. It's like it's a group. Like
they are.
Yeah.
Picture they've been made in color on the color of law.
They've been made into
only because we subscribe to it.
Ain't it crazy? A fiction.
Yep.
A legal fiction.
To it. Yep.
Picture whites moving out of the neighborhood primarily because you were allowed to move there. Okay, let me read that right. I'm on some voiceover. Picture whites moving out of the neighborhood primarily because you were allowed to move there. All while poisonous public policies are being passed. Poetic. Daddy? I'm sorry.
I'm trying.
If I'm yelling in y'all ear. There's no fairness in judging or looking down upon the actions of the Black Spades or any of the Latino-based organizations that represent early hip-hop's story. The conditions they had to live in and endure were intentionally inhumane, to say the least, authored by the very government and municipalities that were supposed to attend to their welfare, which is called benign neglect. You want me to keep going? Or?
I got it.
Okay.
I'll read this last bit. Maybe the Bronxians weren't the people the New York government were trying to protect when passing their laws. For example, when America's forefathers said all men were created equal, that is exactly what they meant. Neither the Africans nor their women were included in that statement at all. So I ask, would you have obeyed the laws of a lawless New York given these circumstances? What would you have done? The Black Spades were by no means the only organizational street family fighting the system. There were over 100 gangs in the Bronx alone. I give enough respect to all of the gangs that were present during these times. However, if I go through them all, this will become another book entirely. Besides, there are only a handful of gangs that are continuously noted throughout the documentation and history of hip-hop. These particular gangs made game-changing accomplishments that formed and shaped circumstances for hip-hop to be born. We don't want to stray too far away from the thread of survival and self-sufficiency. The next most important street organization in hip-hop would have to be the Ghetto Brothers.
And we talked about the Ghetto Brothers already?
Yeah, we built about them already. Yep. Which you have to. If you watch us, Rubble Kings gave you the whole breakdown of them. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, fam? And see, like, look at X. Now, X is an Italian man. He's biracial. Looking at him, I wouldn't have any idea what race X is. I wouldn't know if he was Spanish. I mean, is he maybe even part Asian, maybe, or whatever it is. Now, I would probably think he was Hispanic. You know what I mean? So my point is, you can't go around trying to just put all of this into one little box either, because it's not quite like that. No. Especially with this being New York, y'all. New York has always been ahead of the take when it comes to multiracial people living in a system. But by no means. That's why Spike Lee kept making all those movies about the movie he made, the Son of Sam movie he made, and of course Do the Right Thing, is about these experiments these racial experiments that the government was kind of conducting on us to see not only what integration would be like, but to see how they could benefit from integration in a way that did not benefit us. So that's the problem.
The benefit to it for them, in my theory, is that we know we haven't solved the racial issue.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is cram these people together with little or no resources and tell them and promote racism quietly.
And pit them against one another.
And put them against one another, so they're too busy to even worry about the fact that we're doing all of it anyway. And they really know in their hearts that we're their real enemy. Like, even when you say how, like, the Ghetto Brothers, they were a gang, but they ended up being really known for peace, but they got that from an ancestor named Joseph Muatamini of the Black Panther Party, who went to Yellow Benji and them and was like, look, man, your real enemy is the police. That's and the policy. If y'all were to get together, man, y'all need to stop fighting each other. Y'all can't even walk up the street. So it's you, your neighbors, and the police. And so that's what Yellow Benji, that was one of the many things, you know what I mean? Not the main, but one of the many influences, one of the many people that came to him. The Young Lords Party also came to Ghetto Brothers, came to the Black Spades. They were older. Well, the Black Spades were like, all right, young cats, y'all tearing this up.
You mean the Black Panther Party also came to?
Yeah, the Black Panther Party and the Young Lords Party were coming down to the Black Spades and the Ghetto Brothers all the time. Yeah, building with them, trying to get them to be like, yo, y'all ease up. And
what we're not saying that. What's the name said that in that when he did the peace treaty, when Yellow Benji and it, like it's in footage, him saying, "Hey, because the Black Panthers told us, man." Like, I mean, he's saying that. You know what I'm saying?
And like I said, the book, one of the references for this book. Joseph Muatamini in the Ghetto Brothers book, the graphic novel that we got, the comic. That's what it said, and that book is basically a Yellow Benji testimony. The whole book is just them sitting down, interviewing Yellow Benji with the story and drawing it out.
That book is great.
It's excellent. So he tells by name specifically Joseph Muatamini of the Black Panther Party.
Talked to him.
Came and talked to him. Yep. Came to the headquarters and talked to him or whatever. But again, that was normal. Went throughout my research, those organizations were always coming into New York. They had chapters. Once they established their chapters in New York and realized, oh, this gang thing is real. Right. We need to go tell these young people what the deal is. And so that was always going on. And the 5% Nation was doing it too. You know what I mean? But the 5% Nation are often looked at as a gang themselves. Right. When from the media, the 5%ers are considered a gang. You know what I mean?
Well, the Zulu Nation was a gang on paper, a gang, and considered we was on the terrorist list.
Yes,
I think it was. Yes, Zulu Nation, a whole hip hop organization. talking about something on the terrorist list.
Well, Clinton passed that law. It was 3 or more, something about a little law, something like 3 or more people gathered together with the same goal or look or something like. It was something real crazy. You know what I mean? They can write anything they want. You know what I mean? And then
you mean Democrats and Republicans? You son of a bitch.
Exactly. And then it's supposed to be they're considered especially a gang. I think that was looked at us. That's when he was writing that stuff up. But let's see a little bit more notes. You had leaders like Tiny of the 14th Division, which was Patterson Projects, which they were called the Sparrows. Who now? Aim your mouth at this. Yeah, and he said that now this dude Tiny said that Bambaataa wasn't a warlord. I don't even want to get too deep into that because the more we're finding out, the more once Bam slipped morally, all kinds of stuff came out that just kind of start taking rank after rank after rank from him. You know what I'm saying? Right. So. Now this guy Tiny is saying he wasn't a warlord. Now, what's interesting to me is what I do know for a fact is there's only one warlord per division. Okay. Of a massive gang or organization like the Black Spades. So what I mean by that is you got the 5th Division and they had a warlord, but only one. Now, Solski was the warlord of the 10th Division.
So I see what you're saying.
Who was Afrika Bambaataa's cousin. But people have been saying that Afrika Bambaataa was the warlord of the 10th Division.
Or maybe he became it after Solski
died.
But I'm with you.
But see, here's the deal. After Solski died, Afrika Bambaataa went on a hiatus and came up with the Zulu Nation that summer. Solski dies January 6, 1975. Right. At that time, Afrika Bambaataa is the Bronx River Organization.
Which is the early name for the Zulu Nation.
Boom.
Right. So I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
It's looking like, according to your research, which is very thorough, and thank you, it's looking like we can't really rely now on any of the information about him being a warlord because of what you're saying, and because somebody from them times is like, he won't never know Warlord. So, and according to what you're saying, it's a good chance that he wasn't. But see, that's the problem. That's the problem. He was a Black Spade, and he went on to form the Zulu Nation. And then, but meanwhile, gang culture did turn into hip hop culture. So people are mixing all of that together and saying Bambaataa became the head of the entire Black Spades, formed the Zulu Nation, and took hip hop out of. Right. It took hip hop out of it, out of nastiness, and made everybody sing Kumbaya with dancing and singing.
And won a fictional trip to Africa and all that. So
it's going crazy. And then what's whack about it is because of what he did and was accused of doing. I'm saying that to say again, I'm not that man's judge to know for sure what happened, but from what it looked like he did, and from what most people feel like he did, he is also being stripped of a lot of his badges, even ones that he might deserve. So it's one of those things where, as historians, as much as it doesn't matter how kind of detestable somebody is, it's just like Hitler. It doesn't matter how detestable he is. That doesn't mean that he was a good or bad whatever.
You cannot talk about World War II without talking about Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, and all his strategies and stuff like that.
You have to.
They were brilliant. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where it's just like anything. And Stalin too, and some of the different stuff that he did.
Me being a leader, I have a lot of respect for people like. And people trip, because I said people, I was telling people all the time at the job. I said that one time. I was like, well, I ain't gonna front Adolf Hitler. I'm a bit impressed as an MC. And they were like, what you mean by that? I was like, if you can get an entire nation to think that they are the only people in the world that are the right people, and we're gonna take the world over, that's a bad dude who can get on the stage by himself and just do some speeches over a couple of years. Who goes from an artist. If anybody knows anything about Adolf Hitler, he was an artist. A fine and a great one. He went from that.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't?
Yeah, some people blame him being a bad artist on...
Oh.
Yeah.
But he was an artist.
Just all right. He was just all right. But from what I remember, some of his people were in the military or something, and he was expected... he ended up in the military and was... it's some other stuff. I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to misquote it.
But anyway,
he was just okay, and people felt like if he was a good artist, then maybe there would have been no World War II.
So look, big up to all artists, y'all. If the artist whack, just say it's dope. I'm just messing. You know what I'm saying? But people like Elijah Muhammad, who a self-made person who completely Farad Muhammad started the Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad took it over in 1934. But for him to be able to be a self-made person and get a group of people.
I know what you mean. Thousands and millions of people to follow you based off your word.
Based on your word. You know what I mean?
And then let me say this too.
That's dope.
There's in our race, there's a lot of really eloquent speakers. I think one thing we're known for, from Barack to Malcolm to Martin to many of the different speakers that we've had in our lifetime, we're known for eloquence. You know what I'm saying? On the microphone, MCing is our thing. Hitler was an MC kind of before his time. I can't really think of too many other like German or even our presidents, European presidents who they might have been known for giving decent speeches like Kennedy. He gave decent speeches and stuff like that. And like I said, I guess Clinton was smooth to people. But as far as just like speeches that made you be like, whoa, or whatever, that was Barack, or whatever. Hitler, when I was telling our kids who Hitler was, and we were talking about how he was talking, I was like, y'all, Hitler, the reason why Hitler is a meme, even though what he did is like a horrible thing, he's a meme because, he's funny. He's a little dude, you know what I mean? He doesn't look like the people he's praising, he's not blonde haired or blue eyed, you know what I mean? So that's interesting. He has that mustache that people had at the time, which is a hilarious mustache. I'm like, but he's like, I'm my life, or whatever like that. And then people are like, all of that. And I had never seen anybody like that, especially back in those days and back in those times. So
I found out in working at the shipyard that there's an interesting martyring from a lot of Europeans of Hitler. Yeah. I had a foreman I used to work for from West Virginia, but he worshipped Hitler kind of. Like, he was scary. I didn't know nothing about the gold teeth.
People get obsessed with Hitler because
you see what I'm saying? He taught us a lot. Just at work, we talk because he'll be like, this is the history of what happened today. Well, I'll be at work. He'll be like, what happened today, y'all? And we'll be like, yeah. And how about that vow? He'll be like, today is the day that Adolf Hitler invaded Poland in 1939.
He would walk around spouting Hitler facts.
He went hard. I learned a lot about Hitler. Really, I'm like, wow, really, I didn't know. You know what I mean? So until I told him.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you good.
Well, until I told him about how. when I one day he was going in, I said, well, wow, did you know about Standard Oil Company's involvement? He said, Standard Oil Company was an American. That was J.D. Rockefeller. Said, you know they supplied all of the gas and oil for Adolf Hitler's tanks?
IBM helped with that number system for
Well,
counting them Jews.
Counting the Jews that they burned up. IBM came with the whole stamp system and all that. That was IBM
Really, the
that came
mark
with
of the
that or whatever.
beast is IBM, and they ran that prototype on those Jews.
Yeah, Fanta is German Coca-Cola, y'all.
Yep. Coca-Cola didn't want to stop selling their drinks in Germany during a lot of these companies. They just rebranded themselves, and companies do this, you guys, all the time. It's not just during these horrible times, but they just do it all the time. If it gets a little stank name on it, they'll just kind of reinvent it, and you'll think it's the competition for the soda you're drinking when really it's the exact same company. So there's that too. But yeah, don't you wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna?
Yeah, Pizza Creek. What do you say? IBM, Hugo Boss, Ford. No question.
Yes.
No question.
What's up, Creek?
Yeah, what up? What up?
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
And Hill Cattell. What's up, Hill? Yo, was you there? Was you there for? I keep interviewing him. Was you there when Jess raided me, man? I was hoping you were. It was going so crazy. If I didn't see you or speak to you during that, what's up, man? I appreciate.
What he
you
said. I recently read that Hitler. What he just said. Could you put him back up right quick?
I'm looking for. Oh.
I recently read Hitler had the same personality as Gandhi. I can get.
What do you mean, like type A, type B, that type shit?
I ain't gonna fry. No, we ain't gonna get into that either, but.
Yeah, and we're not trying
Gandhi,
to.
Yeah.
And y'all, I know how because people are sensitive, man. It's like y'all, we're not trying to, we're not on no bullshit, man. We're just analyzing the history, but it is what it is. People have their hands dirty, and a lot of this stuff is it's not what it seems, man. It's not what it seems. People had their hands in some stuff. People had their hands. We'll put it at that. Yeah. So the purpose for this live tonight, because I guess we're gonna start to round it up. But you just rolled in. What's up? I think you're talking about the question I asked you. If you can get them cut sleeves for me, that would be dope before we leave.
All right, I got a couple more things to say to him.
My bad.
Oh no, you good. I got a couple more notes I just wanted to make that I took about the spades. Then we can wrap it up. I didn't know that I'm gonna put on in.
Okay.
You got also that the Bam Bam scenario. Bam Bam being the leader of the spades. I'm gonna go over through that with you one more time. So there was a person named Bam Bam. And he was the supreme warlord of the Black Spades. So the Black Spades seem to have, now the more I do research, they seem to have had each division, they had so many divisions that each division had a warlord, but then they had a supreme warlord.
So that's Bam Bam.
That's Bam Bam, who went to the meeting.
The peace treaty.
The peace treaty that the Ghetto Brothers did.
Right.
Now Africa Bambaataa was with him, according to the research.
So a man named Bam Bam and somebody named Africa Bambaataa. So it's already confusing.
And Bam Bam, if I'm not mistaken, gave Africa Bambaataa his name. So that Bam Bam and Bam and all that has kind of mixed a lot of that up.
A lot of the history.
So Africa Bambaataa and Bam Bam, the supreme warlord of the Black Spades, are two different people. Two different generations, where the Bam Bam of the supreme warlord is an original Black Spade Bronxdale, where Africa Bambaataa is a baby spade Bronx River. See, geography plays a role with this too.
Okay.
Bronxdale, Clawson, we name certain places where the earlier ones start. Soundview, Bronxdale, that's early Black Spade history. Baby Spade is Bronx River and on. See, Bam gets a lot of
later history.
Right, and Bam gets a lot of credit for the expansion of the Black Spades.
Which he might deserve more credit for that.
Right. And he does get a lot of credit for that, because once they came to him, the little charismatic young dude who a lot of people was kind of following from other gangs, they were like, well, look, since you seem to got this clout, young boy, you starting the Bronx River organization trying to make us look better, I tell you what, won't you go ahead and expand since you want to throw some parties. Hey, Disco King Mario, let him borrow your set.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't realize that all in Bam, when you see Bam battling people, that's Disco King, that's Truck City Crew set that he using, because they were Black Spades. They were in the same organization. So when Bam starts the Bronx River organization, he started it because the Chuck City Crew was already rocking and knew that he had resources to be able to throw parties.
So you're saying, just to be clear, because it is the reason why he's stressing that, y'all, is because KRS-One in particular said in more than one documentary that Bambaataa, Africa Bambaataa, was the head of the entire Black Spades, and that he organized and unified all gangs. And then it became the Zulu Nation, and niggas went off into the sunset and danced and spun on their heads and rapped and sang songs. And that is not correct. And it's not correct for so many different reasons. But what makes that even more dangerous is because now Y'all know Bambaataa, or maybe you don't know, but Bambaataa. So Bambaataa, for people who just know him through music, he sang Planet Rock. That's what he's most known for. Planet Rock is Bambaataa in the Soul Sonic Force, Afro Bambaataa in the Soul Sonic Force. He did that, and then, but he's known for being the person who is pretty much not the creator of hip hop, not at all, but at the forefront of what hip hop is and what it means and the elements and all of that stuff. And so now that he's got accused of touching people and molesting folks and all of that stuff, it's making hip hop look bad when really a lot of the credit he got was not even his to begin with. All right, so earlier, y'all, we showed y'all, before I show you this, let me pull this back up. We was in Phatz's book and we showed y'all these. We showed y'all the cut sleeves.
I got a few more notes too. After you do.
You got some notes? Well, no, do the notes and then I'll show the cut sleeves last.
Okay.
But get through them, I guess, so we can kind of.
All right, so that's that, and
No, so hold on. Let him run these notes to y'all, and then I'll show y'all these.
yeah, just a few more. Ain't
You
even
good,
that
baby?
much more.
Come on back to this mic. Come
I
on
wanted
in
to
here.
mention the female thing, and then I think we can wrap that up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Black Spades was officially formed in Junior High School 123 on Morrison Avenue. You notice I mentioned the junior high school. I didn't have a name. So in the revised version, I'll have the name. It was Junior High School 123. For those of y'all that are from New York, you know these schools be having like number names and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Junior High School 123 on Morrison Avenue in Soundview. That was the original lunchroom where the Black Spades formed and started. The female division, the Aces of Spades, was started in Clausen Point Projects in Junior High School 131. And the sister that we can give credit to is Vita Haskins. So big up to Sister Vita Haskins. Don't know whether she's an ancestor or not, but she's pivotal. Her name came up in leadership in not just the female division of the Black Spades, but the Black Spades as a whole.
Okay.
So the Black Spades leadership has women in it. And of course, they were like, all right, well, we're going to need a division of ourselves too. So you got to look at that too.
And you found a name. That's really dope because it was very hard at first.
Oh, to get a women named out of anything. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's interesting because this information is coming out. Again, big up to Michael Wayne TV. They're coming out with a lot of this, and a lot of people are kind of just starting to drop blogs and drop stuff to let us know stuff like that or whatever. Other than that, as long as we do the commercial stuff and we promote our stuff.
No, we're about to
that's why I
promote.
had that.
Now it's promotion time.
Yeah, and that's it. You know what I mean? That's to know. That's it. I just want y'all to know that it was definitely a female division. That's when they started. So.
Hill. So what we're gonna do? So we're gonna go into that shortly. But just long story short, you can just whisper to me, or whatever. If you're on Facebook, inbox me, whatever, wherever you're at. Just hit me up in the way that you know how to contact me. Or if you know him, contact him. Because right this minute, we just got the first batch of the books. We sold out of them immediately. They're gone, other than the ones we kept just to have on our own. So we're waiting for a big batch to come in the mail any day, tomorrow or the next day. And then we'll be able to ship them out. So meanwhile, I'm going to be making a link where people can go. I actually did make a link where people can go and fill out stuff on our website. But the problem was people said it was trying to make them become members or do something. And I want it to be simple. I want you to just be able to give your information. But we became an LLC recently, and I have to go in and do some changing on our website, blah, 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 blah. Then I'll be able to take all manner of payments and blah, 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 blah. So until I get the link where you can just go and order the book whenever you want it, inbox me and we'll exchange information. It's $20 and you'll get it. You know what I mean? So let me hold it up. Where is it? Let me hold it up some more while I run my mouth. We put it back, I guess. Yeah. So again, here it is, y'all. Here it is in the flesh. Okay, all right. Edited and designed by me, prefaced by me, and authored by him. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. We've been talking about it for a long ass time, and here it.
And we're gonna have a revised version ready May 19th, 2022.
Next year. All right.
You know what I'm
So that's how
saying?
you can get it, and we'll mail it to you. Now about cut sleeves. So we were talking about these gangs, right, or these remedial coalitions, or whatever words you want to use. Who gives a damn? Whatever words you want. So this is some examples of the cut sleeves they were wearing. Like Phatz said, they were patterning themselves after the Hells Angels and stuff like that, these biker gangs. And so this is what they would do. But instead of it being leather, even though sometimes they did have leather jackets, a lot of times they would get these denim jackets, cut the sleeves off, hence the name cut sleeves. As you can see, sometimes they would take the jacket apart and put it back together with eyelets and stuff. The kind of shit I do. I'm really impressed with some of the stuff I saw. I saw in one of the documentaries where they really went into.
hard.
I'm gonna find that, and they really went into it.
Certain gangs went really
Yeah.
hard, and we're really known for that more than anything else.
Than
was their
anything
cut
else.
sleeves.
It's
Yeah,
the
you
dope,
know what I'm
dope
saying?
sleeves you
Yeah,
could get.
definitely.
What's up, SB? And y'all, if anybody rates me or something, let me know, because I can't tell from here. If the numbers jump up, I guess I can tell. But if any of you are rating or anything, I can't tell from the screen I'm on. All right, so that's how they patterned themselves after these guys, right? But they had to, of course, make their jackets by hand and stuff like that. So they did some really innovative stuff and cool stuff. So in the spirit of that, in recent times, I've made quite a few cut sleeves. Actually, I said about 4 or 5 cut sleeves. All mine were painted. I have never really stitched anything, just like the Warriors. That's what the Warriors is depicting.
Yeah,
This.
yeah, DJ Cruz. The
Yeah.
Warriors is definitely depicting this. Well, actually, again, I keep needing to remember to do this, but
We're gonna
I'm
watch
gonna
the Warriors
give y'all
too.
the action. And when we do the Warriors, we're gonna watch the Warriors, and I will have the information on where the actual Warriors came from. It was a
Yeah.
social worker in New York
Who
who
wrote
wrote
a
a
book.
book, and that the Warriors that we know, that movie is really influenced by that person's book. He was an actual social worker who actually was telling story, who took actual stories and made, basically made a movie of it or whatever.
So he definitely based it on those times in New York, but he
Definitely.
didn't. What's up, Cino? I see
No,
you.
he not.
Hey,
No, he
La
not.
Fierce, La Fierce, La Fierce. All right, so DDD.
Cut sleeves.
These are the cut sleeves. All right, so this is just an example of how some of them look. So in recent times, I made some. You know what I mean? First one I made was for Gorilla Will. I did a sand ape. I wish I had a picture of it, but I don't. Right on this computer, I have one over there. But I did a sand ape transforming in the moon on the back of his cut sleeve. That was his, because he was the leader of our Zulu chapter, and so I made him a cut sleeve. Then the sexy one became the leader, and whether he was the leader or not, I would have made him cut sleeves. But here's one that I made. You bought them both, right? Yeah, you bought that other one. Here's one that I made. All right. So he put the Zulu Union buttons over it, over the eyeballs. But yeah, that's the one that's on the back of that book. So anybody know anything about Kemetic stuff? That's Tahuti, the god of science and writing and stuff like that. So that's why it's dope that he's on the back of this book right here.
And the publishing company that actually published this book is Right Just Words Publishing. And Tahuti is our mascot anyway, so the little sneak, little mascot type joint.
The lighting does not do this justice at all. It's very colorful, but it's painted
dope,
with it's real heavy too. It's painted with fabric paint, washable and stuff like that. Anyway, what I think is cool about cut sleeves, especially our cut sleeves, is this went through some generational changes, because then a friend of ours who was also in the Zulu Nation, who was a lot younger than we are, he started getting into fashion and sewing and all kinds of cool stuff, and he put some African fabric and stuff on the front of the thing. So
Crazy.
look at that. And then of course we got our buttons and stuff like that, the different buttons. So that's that. Yeah. So look at that.
That ain't sweet. No, he did his thing.
He did his thing. Yeah, I really like that. So that's his cut. So this is very heavy. I mean, I'm literally like struggling to
I'm
hold
sorry
it up.
because you're holding pants up too.
Oh, it's some pants in
Yeah,
there. I was like, why is this so heavy?
The jeans that match. Because y'all know me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm fashion.
Baskin dress.
Y'all,
Yeah. So.
Kobe. You know what era we come from. See, Kobe can explain.
Yeah.
I can already tell by Kobe already know. You gotta have right coming from our era, man.
And so then there's this one. Now I made this one. It's for him, and we share these. I've worn that one before. He's worn this one before. And I wear this one a little bit more. We're a record label, so this is our logo, Soul Trust Records. So STR. This is the back. Y'all know I like the scarab. You know what I'm saying? I like the scarab with wings. So that's what that is right there. Y'all see that? So get at me. I don't really have a set price in my mind to charge y'all for these because I haven't done one in a while. But I can come up with, if y'all want one, I can come up with a price. Only thing about it is I usually would kind of require you to get your jacket yourself. So if you're willing to get a jacket and mail it to me, then I'll do it. You know what I mean? Because we like to make money from the crib. So I need to add some buttons to mine. But yeah, that's how it is. And then I made a couple more.
Now, I
so
like this though.
thank you.
This is the white. I like that.
Oh yeah, you like the little white.
Oh,
You like
that's
that?
tough.
You
That's
like
tough.
that? You like that? Yes. So that's that. So y'all know how to get the book. You seen the cut sleeves. This weekend. Let me just make this speech right quick.
Let's do you. Let's hit the let's let them know our son got the beat tape out.
Yeah.
And then
Now I actually have that in here. So our youngest son, Zachariah, he made a beat tape called RGB. He just spelled it that way. It's really RGB, like red, green and blue, because he's always talking about the color spectrum and how it works in the television and all that stuff. He's deep. So anyway, after May 11th, this was available, and it still is. If you go to soultrustrecords.com, you'll see his face right there. Click the button, and you can go and download his 10-track joint. It's $9.99, $10. And again, he arranged it himself. He did all the musical stuff himself. You know what I'm saying? Or what? Most of it is not any samples or anything like that. And it's just him. It's dope, and we're proud of him because he's a little boy and he made his own beat tape, and it's actually really strong, mixed and mastered and some more shit by him. So he's just getting started. I can only imagine what it's about to be like or whatever. So that's that for him. Let me pull up my little flyer I made. Sorry, I haven't uploaded it yet. So y'all may or may not know I'm a house DJ on Twitch, LaFace Freeman. I really would like it if you would get a Twitch account and come over there with us. All of us are over there, most of us anyway. X and Gorilla Will and Brandon and stuff. And I DJ a lot, and most of the people who know me now, they know me from that. So come on over there and listen to that house music that me and Floyd are spinning, and that Dot and all the different music that they're playing. It's dope. Okay, I'm uploading my flyer now. So this weekend on June 19th, Saturday, June 19th, I will first be featured on Rob the Boom's page. He's having a whole thing the whole day. It starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time, but I will be featured on his channel with a pre-recorded house set at 3:30 p.m. All right, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Rob the Boom's channel on Twitch. That's a big deal for me, but also House World Express Raid Train. I'm a part of that as well. On my page at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time that night. So be there or be Polygon. I want you to be there, please. And then July 2nd, excuse me. I'll have a flyer for that next time y'all see me or whenever. July 2nd, I am being featured on Soulful House Music Collage. All these different times. Wow, it's 6 o'clock, 6 to 9 that night. So that's a Friday night, Friday, July 2nd. All right, thank y'all. So that's my news. What you got?
Well, no, I just wanted to say, again, we spilled enough about the book. We built about the book. Zach, also just wanted to say, be on the lookout for those of us. Again, I'm in the middle of a big Twitch campaign. I do appreciate those of y'all that are here with us on other venues on Facebook or whatever. But we're both actually, No's Twitch campaign is moving on up. I'm getting mine's going. So whenever you see my stuff, I'd appreciate it for those of y'all that are not on Twitch to get on Twitch and start following me on Twitch, because I will be DJing reggae here shortly. Roots and rockers. I can't do that for you on Facebook. I can't do that for you.
Facebook will shut us down in the middle of the broadcast.
Yeah, and so Twitch, I can get it to you live. You know what I mean? And then we can do the darn thing like that.
Yes.
Also, the Culture Chronicles itself will begin to incorporate more DJing in it as time moves on. So you will get the whole dope experience on Twitch, as opposed to Facebook. I'm definitely doing a Twitch campaign.
Yes.
So that's one thing I wanted to announce. Be on the lookout with DJ B. Y'all know it's locally 757. DJ B is a heavyweight influence for us in hip hop culture.
He's
in
big
DJ,
on Twitch,
in the DJ
too.
element. He's big on Twitch. We should have a mixtape coming out with him shortly.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, the mixtape flames.
We also have a label mate of ours by the name of Native Son. Me and No the Rubber People, when we join him, we as well. You know what I'm saying? What up, Nova Ballad?
What's up, Nova? Yeah, gotta say that.
What up, sis? You already know the deal. How we doing, Ma? You know what I'm saying? Everything good. You know what I'm saying? Good to see you. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that. I also want to say that I love y'all.
Keep talking. I'm gonna find somebody to rate while you're talking.
Word up. And so I love y'all. You know, and just know that hip hop is just more than, I'm gonna end it with that. Know that hip hop is just more than b-boying, graffiti, DJing, and MCing, and knowledge of self. Where did the knowledge of self comes from? You know, how do we even get to all that if we're going to talk about that?
Right.
Know that hip-hop is definitely a culture first. It's not actually a musical genre. Rap music is the musical genre that we're literally listening to, where
Right.
various people from hip-hop culture may or may not participate in it. You see what I'm saying? So I want y'all to really begin to live with that. Take that, and when you teach our children that in the future, you know what I mean? Some people going to go to the elements and be like, but hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Let's not forget about the part that makes hip-hop, puts it in American history. The part of hip hop that makes it, it gives it heritage. The part of the most intelligent part of hip hop, mind you,
Right.
in my own opinion, the one who
The most creative
the
part.
most socially conscious aspect of hip hop. You know what I mean? Let's Let's just begin to tell the babies, to teach the babies that aspect of it. Let's begin to help the babies. Because again, generational gaps. One of the issues with hip hop culture is you can see the difference in generations going all the way back to Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, and Elijah Muhammad. You can go back to that generational difference. There's obviously a disagreement going on in between them. And this goes on in it. Now the next level of it is the parents that we talked about of the Black Spades who are like, okay, we live in a good neighborhood, and the Black Spades being like, hey, Ma, it's real out here.
Yeah, it's not roses.
So there's this difference. And then our parents telling us that hip-hop is a fad. And we're like, oh.
Hip-hop isn't music.
So
hip-hop is whack.
There's a big generational difference. That's one of the issues that we're dealing with culturally. But I always said, if hip-hop does what it's supposed to do in the community, you know, if we feed the children the knowledge, take care of their needs, take care of the women's needs, all of us as a community, you know what I mean? Now they'll care who cool her kids.
Right. They'll care about the name of the first rapper to do this.
Right. They will care.
Just even the rappers of their time. They'll care more about the culture behind things. Maybe not just the clothing or the jewelry or whatever it is. Because as long as it's like that, they can put dudes in the pearl necklaces and make everything all weird and strange and take hip hop away from kind of what it was originally designed to do.
And
you know what I mean?
It can be put into a school system where there's a timeline, there's books, and it's a textbooks, and it's organized. And now we can teach the children in a place where they're used to learning.
Right.
You know, trying to teach them in the rec center is one thing. Half of them don't want to be there. They were made to go, da-da-da-da. So, and check it from us who are really experienced with teaching children in inner city, in a rec center, and trying to hold their attention. But if I fed them, or they knew they was coming for really information that could really help them and their parents, they sit there struggling or whatever, and I'm like, well, yo, you know, we could take care of the needs first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they never respect anything you have to say after that. And you're right, because think about the teacher that you had in school that was like that for you. That where especially if you were a troubled, we had good upbringings, but some people had troubled upbringings, and you always had that teacher at school or those teachers who just really, really gave a damn about the children, and those are the people that those children would never forget. So in hip hop, let's be that in hip hop. Let's with a hip hop face on it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Or whatever. So
I just want to give a big shout out to Fresh Radio. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a shout out Solar Flare Natives. That's who you're dealing with. Soul Trust Records is definitely in the house 2 times. You already know. You know what I mean? Black Girl Gamer. You already know what it is. You talking to the rubber people. Culture Chronicles, Black Girl Gamer, Soul Trust Records, Righteous Works Publishing. All that in these 2 people. Zulu Union representing. You know what I'm saying? Zulu Union representing. So I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
All right, hey, if y'all need voiceovers, I'm a voice actor for a living. That's all I do. I do it every day. Gotten pretty good at it, so I'm confident in my professionalism. I'm not just saying it, you know what I'm saying? So if you want a good voiceover or whatever, I think I got you. If you like the kind of voice that I have, I can do characters and stuff like that. I can do little different accents and stuff like that. But for the most part, like if you need something professionally done or even DJ drops and stuff like that, I've been hired a lot to do DJ drops and I've done tons of that kind of stuff. I've been Lynn Thigpen. I've been paid to be her 3 different times. The Hey Boppers lady.
Oh yeah.
Hey Boppers. I've had to
be
the
Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors chick. The Warriors DJ. The female DJ. Yeah. I've been hired to be her a few times, so that's been fun. But all right, you guys. So I know who I'm gonna raid. It's TDM. So we're gonna go ahead and raid over to him in a minute. As far as my channel, y'all make sure y'all give Culture Chronicles a follow. I think that's all we have to say. Is that right?
That's it, yo. We on a Twitch campaign.
Oh, I did want to say this. For him, I know we talk about hip hop a lot. I know we talk about this a lot. We're gonna start to move forward. Because this hardback book symbolizes us being able to kind of move on, still building on this information. But Culture Chronicles is not just about hip hop. It's about culture chronicles. So we're chronicling mainly, but we are chronicling culture. Okay, so reggae has been his big thing lately. He's really, really getting deep into, and as deep as he went into this information, he's going deep into the reggae. Deep like.
I've already found out a lot, and I'm telling y'all, man.
It's good stuff.
It's good
but
stuff.
Along with it is some DJing of some really good roots reggae that no one ever plays. Not saying that he's so special, but even since we've been on Twitch, we've rarely heard any of the roots, the Horace Andy, the John Holt, and the
Cornell
Campbell, and the Errol Dunkley.
The Paragons and
and
the Wailers before Bob Marley and the Wailers, the Wailing Wailers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Early Dennis Brown, early Burning Spear. I'm talking about these people. Yo, again, it's interesting. How hip hop, average age of hip hop, these Black Spades that we're talking about, they're between the ages of say 9 and 18. Most reggae artists that we love, most of them started in between them same ages too, as singing. Like Dennis Brown was in high school when he started his career.
Look
Branch
at
and Levy was 14. We
Look
go
at you.
on
I
and
can
on.
see the twinkle in your eye.
The reggae thing about to be good because arguably, you know, I love hip hop culturally. I am hip hop. I have to like hip hop music by default. But my favorite genre is reggae.
Right. The way he is about, like,
it.
same with me. I'm hip hop is shit. We met through hip hop. Hip hop is we live and breathe it. We've done everything hip hop that you can imagine. But my favorite music is R&B. My favorite music is R&B. I love soul music and R&B. And you would think it would be house or or whatever, but it's not. It's not house. It's R&B and anything soul music related, and that can be house sometimes. There's soulful house and there's soulful whatever. But give me R&B any day. I like to make love and hug
Listen,
and
that's
do.
the thing.
I'm a
Like
girl.
I ain't gonna start it. I ain't gonna start the reggae show tonight. But again, the era, my favorite era of the reggae Jamaican music history is what they call the rock steady era. It's the era before dub. It's the era before it, and it's just where all of this stuff comes from. And it's really R&B. It's really Jamaica doing R&B music from American influenced R&B music their way,
Right.
on their bass lines, on the way that they're playing music in Jamaica. So
Right.
I cannot
so
wait.
before Ross, you was talking about how,
Right.
and that explained it because I remember when I first started going deeper into the history of the Wailers, the history of the Wailers, and not the history like you, but the musical history. When I was in college, that's when I first started getting into the deeper Bob Marley from earlier, the small acts and all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And a lot of the songs that he did with the male Wailers that he ended up when he parted from the male Wailers, because he wrote most of those songs, he ended up redoing them with the female Wailers.
Right.
But I am more of a fan. As much as I love the female Wailers, as much as I love the music Bob did, me, I'm more of a fan of the sound of that older Wailers, with the men singing in that falsetto sound and stuff. I love the way that sounds.
And it's interesting.
And so that being said, you made me understand why that early Bob sounds like it does, and then right in there you see where Ross hits him or Ross hits them, the Rasta movement. You know what I'm saying? And the music changes and all of that. And I'm like, that's why that earlier music does kind of sound like American
type music.
doo-wop.
Because you look at, like, for instance, I found out Philly got a lot of influence in reggae. So Stylistics from Philly. Now listen to them. They come out around that time.
Oh, I love the Stylistics.
So Stylistics is one of my favorite. I love falsetto. So there are I found at least 7 to 8 groups in reggae or solo artists, and that's it. Falsetto was big.
Because
in
it
reggae music. Right.
Because it was big at that time period.
Remember that? I remember heard the song I was playing last night. Them people, a lot of people was doing that in background in reggae music. I love it. I love it. And
I do too.
I am so excited. I cannot wait to get all that going. So, y'all be looking for actually.
So yeah, Culture Chronicles is gonna, and we're gonna revisit some of the stuff that we went over because we did a whole year on Facebook before even coming over here to Twitch, and a lot of some of that stuff, some lives you do are just golden, and he has a few of them where I'm like, okay, Fats, we got to do that again, or got to represent that. So we'll do that, but just wanted to let you know, Culture Chronicles is definitely not all about hip hop. It's about chronicling culture, and it just takes time to dive deep into each one. We don't want to jump around too much.
Yeah, and then
because there's funk and there's jazz.
House. We got to do
house.
history of
We
house
got to do house.
And disco, and we got to get into all, because house and disco, you have to do the history. They're the same to me. You gotta start with David Macuso at the Loft in 1970 and come on up. But again, we could do this all night. Culture Chronicles in the crib. You know what I mean? So
that's all I love to Brett. He be deep, boy. I be over here downloading music and stuff like that, like curating the joints, and I look over there and he in that screen. He got that notebook out. He like to write his notes down in the composition notebook first. Yeah. You know what I mean? Old school. So,
but no doubt, Orlando Moss, ready for that reggae? I got you. Nova Ballad, no question. Appreciate the excitement. I got you. That is about to be really, really dope. You know what I'm saying? That's about to be really, really dope. So y'all stay tuned for that. You know what I'm saying?
And somebody followed. Thank you for following Subble Kid. And I don't know who you followed. I don't know if you followed him or followed me, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're dope. Thank you. Hell, you're dope, man. You're dope. I fucks with you, yo.
No question.
It's so dope, man.
No question,
I thought Facebook and them was dope when it came to going live, but not like Twitch. Like, I really feel like I know you guys. And thank you, Pizza Creep. It was nice for you to be able to tune in, not once but twice today. And I stream all the time, bro. So it's good to have you, man.
And it's also nice to see, like, Pizza Creep, for example. I named one company that helped from America in World War II, thinking I'm putting people deep, and I got help. That's
Well,
why I
you
like
know
Twitch,
what-
because they
but
go, oh, no,
Hill,
son.
Hill,
You know
Hill
what I'm
and
saying?
Creeping them are
They go
deep.
hard.
Yeah,
Word.
they're in the know. So
Word. And
yeah.
Winslow, again, peace and blessings to you too, man. Hey, but come on over to Twitch, bro. We about to go in, yo. It's about to be really deep, man. And hug them twins for me. Y'all did good, brother. Good job, brother. Good job,
So
man.
hey,
You know
we
what I'm
love
saying?
y'all. I'm about to raid on out. I love you. Depending on where you're tuning in from, the video will just end, or it won't end. I'm gonna do this over here. For some of you, it'll end, and for some, it won't. So we're going to my brother TDM. Make sure you give him a like and a follow and all of that stuff before you do whatever you're gonna do. Or you can hang around and really enjoy what he's doing. It's the Good Deep House. He's one of the brothers from the Soulful House Music Collage. This is actually, I found him on Soulful House Music Collage, which is again a big collage of DJs that's been doing it for a long time.
Girl.
Zoom girl, hey, hey again. Or no, haven't seen you today? I don't know.
Man,
Hey, how you doing?
What up, Zoom?
What up, Zoomy? Thank you, Redbird. It's always good to have you. You're one of our first.
Thank you, sir.
One other thing. You know, we've got so much going on.
Ooh,
we're gonna be doing, just like we did last year. We're gonna be doing some charity stuff. We just stay around for it. We're gonna be getting some donations and stuff so we can do a food and clothing drive, and we're also gonna be I forgot. All right.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all.
Food, clothing, resistance. Y'all stay tuned for that. We organizing that. That's why we ain't mentioned that a lot. But yeah, we're gonna be giving away food and clothes before we be going. All right.
It was something else I was gonna say. I really, but I can't remember. So
All good.
It's all good. So, read out, if you will, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right now. All right, that's with
One
them,
love.
with that group. And peace to the rest of you guys on Facebook and other places. We love y'all very much. Peace and blessings.
Let me give you that doom ring.
I ain't got no
Let me give
doom
you that
ring.
doom
Let me give you
ring.
let me give you that obsidian, baby. Let me give you that obsidian, baby.
Peace.
And friend.
Peace to the gods and the earths.
Peace, y'all. Love you.